Yeah, that's a great movie. Fuck yeah.
Hey everybody, how you all doing out there? We're here. It's Friday night again. What are you drinking? What are you listening to? It's good to be back. It's going to be a great show. Al's going to be back on. We hope. He was frozen there. We thought it had a heart attack, but I think
it was scary. He like froze.
Scary, yeah.
I thought he was mad at me.
Yeah, he didn't move for about 3 minutes, but you know,
just mad dogging. What I say?
What are you listening to? What we on? 117. Paul, thanks for coming back on. It's good seeing you.
All right, thank you. I'm sober right now, so
I had a little bit more than popcorn for dinner tonight, right?
Yeah, I did. Thank God. I had some ham and whatever. I'm good.
Jerry, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's going to be a good time. Let me do the housekeeping. It's real quick.
Yeah.
Help us out. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Like and subscribe. There you go.
Thank you.
The chat's open. If you're in there, make yourselves known. Say hello. Be nice to us. Not too much heckling. Wow.
Yeah. We'll see.
For anyone new watching, people know what we do here. We've each got 5 records. We're gonna have a good time talking about. We'll do one each. Go around. See what happens. It's always a good time. I'm excited for everyone's picks. There we go.
Yep,
people are here. There you go. There you go. Hey, and Al's here too.
Oh, Al's back.
Hey. Welcome back.
To borrow Ellen's laptop.
Hey, he lives.
Hey, hang on a second here.
We get scared because the picture, you remember, it just like froze. You're like,
yeah, I know.
Like, we gave him a heart attack.
I have an old computer, and unfortunately, it gets knocked off the internet a lot. So, I mean, this one, So anyway, I'm using my wife's laptop, and here we are. So
here we are.
Hi.
Good to see you all.
You too. Again.
Cheers. Shall we get going? It's going to be a good 2 hours, so or more, depends how it goes. All right. So last year, I saw the Adverts for the first time ever. Here in Osaka, they played in this tiny little club, Bears, like 150 people, and they were great, as you would expect. Actually, even better than I was expecting them to be. And we kind of lucked out in Japan because he tends to have like different backing bands, like TV Smith, wherever he goes.
Right.
We lucked out in Japan because we got this band as his backing band, and I love this band. They're from LA. They're a great fucking band, and the Rough Kids.
Oh yeah, yep.
The Rough Kids from LA. They're just a punk band from LA, and they're a great band in their own right. And what they did, they went around Japan with TV Smith for 2 weeks, and they played like their own set. A couple of Japanese bands came on, and then they did a whole like hour set with like TV Smith like every night for 12.
Yeah, it was like 2003. I was in New York, and at CB's, TV Smith did like a solo set. It was acoustic stuff, and then he had some band from Providence. I forget what they were called, but they were his backing band. And he did a set of Adverts songs, and it was great.
Yeah, he's doing. I think half of the Adverts are doing half of the Damn tour coming up in the States.
They are.
The second
they are, but it's like I think it's the band that Al just mentioned that are playing with him, like not the Rough Kids.
Midnight Creeps. That was the backing band.
There you go.
Providence. This was like 2003. So
there you go.
Yeah.
but I don't usually do. I was a Punisher. I thought they were so good. I did that thing where I went up to them and kind of was like, "Hey guys, you were great." I haven't done that for like a long time. Band. They looked a little bit uncomfortable, and but they were so good. The Rough Kids were great, just like 77 punk style band with a little bit of like early LA hardcore, super catchy. But I said to TV Smith, like, hey, you've got to get the Rough Kids to always, be your backing band, because I think they do the songs justice, like better than the other band that you were talking about, Al. But they're still great with that band. But the Rough Kids kind of they understand the sort of fragility of the Advert songs, They don't overplay them, That's what this record is like. It's kind of like early, like wiry, 77 punk out of LA. They're still going. Check them out.
Yeah, I think I have that record.
Oh yeah, this is their second LP.
Yeah,
it's on Sorry State.
Yeah, I think
they have a Japanese guitarist too, which doesn't hurt.
What?
They have a Japanese guitar player in the band.
There you go.
Which doesn't hurt,
Oh yeah.
Good band, Rough Kids. From LA. There you
go. I'll check it out. Not to get off the subject, but to totally get off the subject. When the UK Subs came over and did that thing recently, did they pick up any of these cats in like Los Angeles, or because you said there was like
Charlie? When I read Charlie, Charlie got it. They let Charlie through, and he had some LA guys. I don't know if they were a band or
nobody that like from any bands or anything that we should know of.
I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. That was crazy. So I read Alvin Gibbs' story about the whole thing. That was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's like kept him for like fucking 48 hours or some shit. I don't know. Like forever.
Yeah.
Just nuts. Alvin though, right? They only kept him. Like Charlie went like
him and the bass player and the drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie was the only one who was able to get in.
Yeah. I think he should have done just like karaoke. He should have just got up and done like had a backtrack and sang. Subs playing and just I would have paid.
He sometimes
Bobby Steele used to do that.
Bobby Steele?
He used to play the backing tracks. He was doing that for a while.
Wow. Who did that?
Bobby Steele from the Undead.
Bobby, yeah.
He was playing the backing tracks for a while. He just up there with his guitar and played a backing track. Like 20 years ago or so, something like that. More, a little bit more.
Trailblazer. Ahead of his time.
Yeah.
A lot of people. I mean, I've seen so many bands do that where there's only one person that comes out like from Love comes out. Baby Lemonade comes out and plays a set, and then they come out and does like a Love set, or whoever's left, the one person last man standing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That I'm on Facebook and I see Gay Adverts. She's not going to jump up on stage and play as far as I know, but she looks healthy and she's still around.
They just had this thing. She came to Japan and she did a big talk and they showed movies and she signed a book and loads of people went and saw her. And she had a Japanese interpreter who like told all the stories and stuff.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool. Wow. Yeah. It was only Tokyo that I didn't go, but pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never too late.
It's never too late. I thought I was way too late to see the Adverts. I wasn't. They're still great, you know.
Oh yeah.
Fucking great.
I think they're playing. I don't know. We're going over. We're doing that Rebellion Fest in England. We're doing like the Thursday night or whatever. A couple of bands I want to see. We're not playing one of the really good nights, though. You know. So I look. I was like, all right. You know?
Seriously, and every night's a good night. Every night's a good night there. There's a lot
I mean, I think the Subs are playing that night. I think DOA's playing, which is good.
Mm-mm.
I mean, there are a couple of bands or whatever, but I forget who's like the main band. Some band I've heard the name. I don't know who the hell. I think they're California. I don't know. But there's like a lot of like stay over there. Why It's like when you go to Europe and like the first time or anywhere the first time, the last person you want to run into is an American. You're like, I'm in Europe. I don't want to talk to you. I go to your state. I don't want to talk to you. I'm over here now. What are you following me for? You try not to be a jerk. You're like, man, over there.
All right, Paul.
Hey.
Paul, what's your first record of the night? What's your first record? What you got? Paul. Yeah. Paul. Yeah. Paul.
Okay, Paul, you go. Yeah.
I got this a while ago. I think about 7 years ago or so. And Rocco Johnson, Roger Daltry, Going Back Home.
Oh, wow, cool.
It's a fucking great fucking record. Great fucking record. It's just also like old R&B type numbers and stuff like that, like feel good type. It's a feel good record, totally. Dr. Feel Good record. And Daltry don't hold back. He sings on this record. He does a great and again, I think I mentioned this the last time. They do I can never remember the name of the fucking song. Can you please crawl out your window? Bob Dylan song.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard it done before, and it's a great song, except when Bob Dylan does it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's all over now, Baby Blue. Great fucking song. I got about 5, 6, 7 different versions of that song. Bob Dylan's version sucks.
Yep.
I can't listen to it.
When is that record from, Paul?
This came out about 7 years ago, I think.
Oh wow, that new, eh?
Oh. It's on Chess.
I never.
Universal, but they got the chess logo on the label. Really fucking cool. They make it look like an old record. It's the cover's got laminate. I don't know if it's laminated, but it's got the fold over things on the back, like an old record.
Wow.
And it's a great fucking record. And that version of that, can you please call it window? It's fucking so good. And like I said, Daltry's not holding back. He's bringing the goods, and he's one of my favorite singers in rock and roll ever. So he's belting it out. He's singing, and of course, Rocco Johnson's fucking.
Is he still playing in the style?
Oh yeah. No, it's all like. I think they do a couple of feel good songs actually, and it's all like covers and stuff like that, like old like. So he's still playing. He's still doing his bit, and he was phenomenal. And I'm wearing my fucking Lee Brillo shirt. And I've got this shirt on. It's got Charlie Brown all said. Look at that. But I saw. Well, there's a documentary about him with Lee Brillo, which is great.
Yeah,
but when he got diagnosed with cancer. And he went out and he did the farewell tour, say goodbye to old friends. He went to Japan and all these other different countries to say goodbye to his friends and fans and, do his whole farewell thing. And he came back home, thinking, all right, I'm going to die. Went to the doctor. Now you're in remission. You're okay.
Yeah.
And he lived for a couple of more years. And in the interview, I think it was in Mojo, he's like, I felt horrible. He's like, I traveled all these countries, I said goodbye to people, and now I'm still going to be.
This is something, speaking of Wilco, this is something I never realized or pretty much thought about until recent years. We were talking about Gang of Four before. I think it might have even been done before we went on the air. Mm-hmm. And when I saw Gang of Four a few weeks ago, they said they were playing an early song they'd never recorded. It's like when we were in our Dr. Feelgood phase. Now, if you ever watch live video of Gang of Four, back in the days, Andy's stage moves, and then watch Wilco's stage moves. They're kind of
the pacing back and forth,
and the jabbing guitar. That's where Andy got that sound from. Is from Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I didn't know.
I love Dr. Feelgood, and I love Roger Daltrey. So I'd read about the record. I was getting a subscription to Mojo for a while. I only had to stop because I got all the shit to read, and those magazines take you fucking 2 weeks to read as it is. and so, and I read that the record was coming out, and then I forgot about it. Then I bought it again, and it's just a really good rock and roll R&B album. The playing on it is stellar, and like I said, Daltrey brings it. It's a good fucking record. It's a good listen. You can crank it. You know, we can leave it low, whatever. You know, I tend to put up a little bit high and everything, but it's nothing that's gonna. I mean, you're not gonna kill your neighbors, but you know, I mean, you could try, I guess. But it's a great fucking record. And I'm a fan of all like that R&B, rock and roll. The Count Bishop's, Little Bob Story from France.
Yeah.
Was Dr. Feelgood. Bees Make Honey. I got into like all that shit when I was a kid because I was like buying old punk records and compilations, and the stuff that came on Shizik. They put on the compilations that had like, because you had Motorhead, you had Screwdriver, you had Radiator Space, and then they had these other bands. I was like, what are, the Bishops, Count Bishop, never heard of them. And then their singles, you can find their singles back in the early 80s for like $1. You know what I mean? Nobody was buying them. So I was buying them all up.
The pub rock stuff.
Yeah, pub rock. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's where a lot of
the
those bands.
Canby Island shit. And I bought all those fucking singles for like 50 cents, $1, because nobody wanted them. And I'm glad I did. I love them.
Yeah. Nice.
Hmm.
There you go. All right, Jerry, what's your first record? What's your first pick? What you got?
Well, I have 5 first picks.
That's usually my trick, but
you know what? But after Paul, let me see. Do I have 5 or 4? After Paul said that, let me try to go feel in the same vein. When I used to write out set lists, I would hear the song in my head and how the song ended, and then whatever note that song ended in, try to pick a song that started in the same, so they all kind of flowed in the same. So I'm thinking of Roger Daltrey, and I have some records that are kind of close, but what I'm thinking of and that would be the first Warren Zevon record.
Oh,
cool.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one was, produced by Jackson Browne, and he has records that are more commercially, the Excitable Boy and all that stuff. But this one, the closers and the openers, and it's a great record. It's a beautiful record. It's a songwriter's record, and what I did is choose records that I'm listening to that I have. And like I said, I went through the process of elimination. I'm like, I went through this records that are on the side of my turntable. And I'm like, well, I got this one. What do I listen to more? And I'm like, this one, this one, this one. Some of them are like, today I was going through a kind of a dilemma on, do I take this one or this one? And but this is this record's, I love this record, and it's it's out of the gate. Yeah. It's brilliant.
I've heard what's it called? The old joke. Well, not old, but recently anyway. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Hey.
Ayo.
Where was the London? There you go.
Wow, you know what? I think I'm gonna fucking have my next band do actually try to do Werewolves of London just so I can do that on stage.
You know what? I think that's the only one I haven't heard or don't have. That one doesn't show up as much as the others.
This first record?
Yeah.
Well, it's got like the Frank and Jesse James, the first song, which is like and then Poor Pitiful Me, which Linda Ronstadt covered and stuff, and Mohammed's Radio, which is a brilliant song, and then it ends with Desperados Under the Eaves, which is like just a class. I mean, every song on here is like really, really just. It's like you hear these songs, like, wow, I wish I would have written half of that song. You know, they're so good. They're so good, and cocaine's a hell of a drug, man. It's like
where it's in full effect is the live album. Was it like Stand in the Fire? The live
one he did at the Roxy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this band, they were like basically like, you know, the Eagles and Linda Ronstadt's band and all the LA guys are all it's the LA people that were, you know, it's like the Wrecking.
When I lived in Boston, I don't know if Al could back this up. But when I lived up there for 2 years, whatever I was there for, I swear to Christ, I had never heard that song, Lawyers, Guns, and Money, more times in my life than when I lived in Boston. I heard it in every bar I went in. It would come on. Really? I heard it in the Mexican restaurant I went into. It came on. Woolworths, the old Woolworths that used to be in Alton. I go in there. There's a bird flying up and down the freaking eye. That song comes on.
Wow!
I was like, is this like the Boston theme song or something?
Never noticed that.
That's nuts. Well, you know, all his songs. I mean, he has that one song, "The Envoy," and it's about, you know, he didn't pull his punches. He was like, he didn't like, you know, the government, the sheriffs, the cops, you know, and he, you know, and that's why they got rid of him.
Well, that last thing, I remember, I think I seen it was on David Letterman or something, some TV show, like "Keep Me in Your Heart for a While," his last record, and that song "Keep Me in Your Heart for a While." There's like a video for it. Holy shit, that thing just fucking boom, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure I heard that album. I mean, I worked in a record store for about 8 years, and one of my coworkers was a huge Warren Zevon fan, and I'm sure I heard every album he ever did at one time or another. And it wasn't bad. Certainly better than what some of my other coworkers played. Oh man.
There's a place for it. I mean, like I said, I have it next to my turntable, and I don't listen to it nonstop. But when I do put it on, I'm like, I don't take it off. I'm like, all these songs are really good, and I'm just amazed by how great they are. So
beautiful. Can't ask more than that.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
My turn?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Well,
got to tell a knock joke first, though, before we can.
All right. Who's telling? I don't have any knock jokes.
Me neither.
All right. So, gonna have a Boston one here, which is the Boston band DMZ. Their 1978 album on Sire Records, the one major label album, and it was produced by Flo and Eddie, you know, the guys from the Turtles. They produced this record, and it was recorded in Long Island, and the band absolutely hated this record. I guess their whole experience of recording it was really, really bad, but I've always liked it. I mean, you know, their earlier stuff, I suppose, was more raw, kind of garagey. Maybe this was a little bit of a streamlined sound, but I always thought it was a kick-ass album. I mean, they, you know, about half the songs were covers. I mean, it was the first time I'd heard, you know, the Sonic song Cinderella. I first heard it through their cover, and they did the Trogs from Home. They did was it the Wailers who did Out of Our Tree, the garage song. But anyway, I mean, this is the first time I heard a lot of this stuff. You know, maybe want to go back and check out some of the original artists too. But I mean, I got this in, you know, summer. This was like a big, you know, I played this constantly in the summer of '78. I still listen to it fairly regularly. So
that's a great record.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I mean, you know, they played, you know, I'm an old guy. I was around, you know, when they were playing out, but I didn't actually see DMZ play live until like around 2010 or so. I never got around to seeing them play. So check them out then.
Well, that was one of there's 12-inch, the 4-song 12-inch was one of the records that were next to my turntable that I was looking at today, and I'm like, it's a 12-inch. It's not a real album. So I
that's one with the orange cover, right?
Yeah, I mean the original. It was It was originally a 7. It was released on Bomp Records, and there was an anthology called Relics some years after that included those songs and
Got that one. Yeah.
another studio. The first time I actually heard DMZ was on the Live at the Rat record. Did you guys ever hear that?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
got that.
The funny thing is, the Rat was the original punk club, but a lot of the bands on that Live at the Rat record are basically just bar rock, essentially. And by far the two best bands were DMZ and the Real Kids. Nothing even really came close to it on that album. But that was the first time I heard either of those bands, Real Kids or DMZ.
Well, didn't the Rat kind of close down by the time punk kind of happened?
No, the Rat was open until 1997. Paul worked at the Rat for a while.
I didn't know that. I thought
You played there.
You played that?
Yeah. We played you guys. No, I know, but I thought by like 88, 89 it closed. I thought it closed.
The Rat closed in 97.
97.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you played there in 90. See this right here?
90?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we played the very last show there. As far as I was concerned, it's like.
Yeah, they were
Pretty sure you were there.
You were there.
Paul's Band, Pure Terror, STP, Wrecking Crew, and I think it was it.
Wisdom Idea, Wrecking Crew, Sheer Terror, STP, May 12th, 1990, 35 years ago, in a couple of weeks.
That's the gig we were just talking about, right?
Yeah, we were talking about before we started. Yeah.
That was a great show. I mean, going to Boston for the first time, being, Boston fans of all that stuff, it was just great. It was, and having Sheer Terror there with us was even better,
That was great.
Yeah, I interviewed you and I interviewed Sheer Terror. It was definitely a memorable day.
Fuck yeah. I came up to you. You're in the parking lot. I think it was right after you played. You're standing in the parking lot, Jerry, and like a 40 or something. Probably Colt 45 or something. Yeah, and I was just like, hey, you guys are great, like that. You just looked at me, and you were just like, you drink? I'm like, yeah. Okay, here you go.
I was expecting somebody to slap the beer out of my hands,
You're about 10 years too late for that.
I heard rumors.
Neither confirm nor deny. And by the way, rest in peace, Al Burrell. He just passed away a few months ago.
Well, that was one of the. I mean, that was so. Just being in that city with the SSD city was just like you could just feel the energy. It was such an amazing band,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! It was. I was lucky. Then in the past, like whatever, only like maybe the past like year or 2 years, maybe whatever. Me and Al started talking to each other. Because for a while he got mad because I would come up to Boston and I'm joking around making fun of Boston on stage, and he posed like, "Who the hell does this guy think he is?" I was at that show. He wouldn't be talking like that. And finally, his wife had to tell him it's a joke, Al.
Yeah, I remember the video from Quincy when you played and you were making fun of the gecko on Dave Smalley's shoulder. Where's the gecko? I want to meet the gecko.
Yeah, so he would get mad, and she told me it's a joke. He's joking around. And finally, he contacted me on Facebook or whatever, and then I sent a message. I was like, I'm just having fun. It's just the whole, Yankees, Red Sox thing, whatever. I'm just busting balls. Like that. He's like, all right, cool. And then we every now and then, we message each other and bullshit or whatever. And it was really nice to talk to him. Like finally, after like going to see him how many times I was a kid, and then him wanting to beat me up years later. Exactly. And then finally, we're good. But yeah, he fought a hard fight. He fought a long, hard battle, and God bless the guy.
The thing is, obviously I met him back then. I've known Nancy a long time, but I only really got to know Al the last 5 or 6 years. We just started, corresponding on Facebook, and it's like, God, just such a nice guy. And, I'm really glad that he eventually realized how important his musical legacy was and allowed all that stuff to be reissued. Long overdue.
Yeah.
I think what he did, I think he got the backlash same like that I did, is that when we both came out against Trump, that we're not Trump supporters. I never was, and he vehemently against Trump.
Oh yeah.
And I know I know he probably got some back because people think they see us with this, that, the other thing, and then we come out. Oh, what do you mean you're not an ignorant thug? You know, broke a lot of hearts.
Hey! Hold on a second. Hold on. You don't support our president? What are you trying to say? What's going on here? What did I get myself into?
Here's my red hat.
So yeah, I know that when he came out, a lot of people were like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What do I mean? What band do you think I'm in? What do you think I'm doing here? Playing hardcore punk. We gotta like the president. Are you out of your mind? This jerk off. He's always been a shit man since day one. So fuck him. Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's why I'm glad to see Ken from Dropkicks doing what he's doing, going out there on those crowds and being like, "Fuck you." That's cool to see. Very cool to see, actually. I just wish more bands would actually fucking do it, but
Yeah, bands on majors.
Bands on majors, or just bands in general. Like some of these hardcore bands, they're not saying nothing. They're like, "Oh, we just want to have a good time." Okay, I understand that. That's great. You want to have a good time. You don't want to go up there and give a political speech. Right? You don't
want to rock the boat. Yeah,
exactly. These people, they're paying money to see us. Okay, great. But you still play hardcore punk, right?
Yeah.
It's political music, whether you fucking like it or not.
I liked it until they put politics in it. It's like you've been listening to
what have you been listening to? I mean, unless you've been listening to maybe the first Dickies fucking record for the past 50 years.
You don't have to rock the boat. The boat's going to be sinking soon enough.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Hope you know how to swim, you chick. Yeah, fuck them. I know. It's another couple of shirts I won't sell. Hey. Exactly.
Yeah, conservative punk, nothing says punk like supporting racism, xenophobia, nationalism, not homophobia, etc. Nothing says punk like that, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's you can be a patriot. That's fine. You can love the country around it. I'm nothing wrong with that shit. But he's sucking billionaire dick, man. Get the fuck out of here. This guy, he would fucking piece of New York flyer. It's Donald fucking Trump, man. He's always been a shitbag.
That's right. Well, you're from New York City. You've been knowing that guy's.
We hated that fucking guy's guts. And then he's all the morons I got in Staten Island, where I'm from.
Grifting.
Oh, the swamp guineas out there with their fucking attitudes and this fucking shit. Fuck them. That's why I pray that we get a black pope. I pray we get a black pope. I'd like to see Staten Island of that. Gonna be a lot of freaking converts to Lutheran.
We'll see then. We'll see.
All right. Yeah. All right, then let's move on to round two. Man, I think I've been running in the wrong circles for like 30 years. I never met anybody that likes this band. I love them. They're from California, and I've never met anybody that likes them. So I'm hoping that tonight I'm going to meet a friend who shares my love for this band. They're from California, fucking great band. In fact, before the show, I realized that they're also playing with the Damned too on this tour, this current tour, the BellRays.
Oh yeah,
great band.
They were just here the other night. Yeah, I didn't see.
You've never met anybody who likes the BellRays? Is that what you're saying?
I told you, Tommy. I've been running in the wrong circles.
Who's you hanging out with?
Right? It's like what? Yeah, it's like whatever. Never heard of them, or like blah 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 blah. Aren't they like a funk band or a blues band?
Yeah,
kind of. But, they're a punk band too.
Oh, they're great.
This band has like more soul than like 100 other bands like put together. This is my favorite of theirs. It's one of the earlier ones when they had the guitar player who was a fucking he would go off. He would often he was a kind of Townsend kind of guy. Like he wouldn't necessarily stick to the tune sometimes. Back in, and he wrote all the songs. Tony Fate was the guitar player. He's not with them anymore, but I still think they're a great band. They're kind of more polished now. more focused, but like back in these days, they were doing like a lot of jamming and like he would go off and like. But her voice, man.
Yeah, she does have a hell of a voice. I think I have one CD by them, but yeah.
So the other night, and then I saw them. Actually, I did a thing with her, with Jesse Malin.
Oh wow!
We had California for one of them, the Joe Strummer things at the Roxy, and she performed as well.
Wow!
Her and the guitar player, whatever, and did. I forget what song they did. They did one or two Clash songs. But I forget what they were, and I was talking to him backstage. I had to tell her, I said, "You got a set of pipes on you, sister." Like, wow! I said, "I got to go on after you." Come on.
It just gives me the goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Like, and set again, especially this stuff where it's like the band it's recorded live in the studio, like no overdubs.
Well, she did, and another record she did with Tim for the Big Boys, the Now Time Delegation.
Yeah,
did one record. That's a great fucking record. That's a great fucking record. And they do a version of a Handle with Care or Handle Me with Care by King Floyd.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I've never heard that.
Me neither.
Great fucking record. The Now Time Delegation, one album. It's a lot of covers, a couple of instrumentals, maybe. It's a great fucking record. I think it's like live in studio because it's raw, it's soul, it's rock, and great fucking record.
What a fucking great! And you used to sort of see reviews and it'd be always the same thing. Oh, it's like Tina Turner or Aretha Franklin like singing for the Stooges or the MC5, which is you always see that in every review would say that. But funnily enough, like years later, she did sing for the MC5.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. And she recorded with the Stooges too on that like some record they did. She sang 2 songs with the Stooges, so it kind of all came true like years later. But
fuck yeah.
There you go. So you know what we need to start talking about is when the time she throws Trump down a flight of stairs. It'll happen. I'd
pay for that. I'd pay to see that. I'd pay for a flight.
But I was nervous, like, man, I don't know anybody who likes this band. So it's like, fucking,
Not great band.
You know what? I followed them a while ago. I didn't know they were still actually playing, but I didn't. Their newer stuff, I didn't know they're still.
They put out a new album last year, which I haven't got yet, and this one is from like 3 or 4 years ago. This is also great, punk, funk, rock and soul. It's also great. And she has this other band, and this is like more on the soul side. There's like less of the punk in it. This one, I recommend this one too. It's Lisa and the Lips.
Oh, I haven't heard that. Yeah.
This is more on. This is like all more like the soul side of things.
Wow.
It's amazing. So Lisa and the Lips. There you go.
Great cover.
All right. Yeah.
So you can, I'll follow whatever she does. She's great. Definitely.
It's like, man, I'm getting goosebumps even like talking about it. It's so amazing
stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But you saw them. You must have seen them, Paul, right? With the Damned.
Yeah, the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were phenomenal. They were fantastic. Fantastic. They were actually one of the better opening bands for the Damned, honestly.
I saw Captain Sensible post. I saw Captain Sensible do a post. He said, we don't usually bother watching the band, or maybe like one song.
They all watched.
And he's like, we watched the whole set for the band.
Me and my wife, because my wife has MS, so my buddy worked there. He hooked it up, so we had ADA seating up in the balcony, looking over the stage. And when they went on, we saw right across the hall on the other balcony. It was like the Muckety Mucks or whatever, the fancy whatever. Yeah. And we saw the Damned. They came out and they sat there and they watched them play, watched the whole performance.
Yeah.
Which was really fucking cool.
It's like we never ever do that. One song, maybe no songs, but like they stay for the whole set.
Yeah, we watched. They stayed set there. They watched the whole thing. It was really cool. Really cool to see that. Really cool to see that. Yeah. And they were like a perfect opening act for them. Perfect. They were fucking great. Great. And it was packed house. It was sold out. White Eagle Hall in Jersey City. It's a really nice old hall. Like that building. I don't know what it used. Maybe it was like I think it might have been like a lodge at one point in time or something like that. And but nice size place. Was perfect and. Great. We played there once with I Hate God some years back or whatever. Really nice place. And great show. And BellRays were fucking great. Great. Fuck yeah.
Definitely.
Fuck yeah. It's me again.
It's you again. It's you again.
Okay. This one came out in 1980.
What?
Wow. Mike, I was good friends with the original bass player for the Nihilistics, Mike, who passed away some years back. Me and him were really close, and long story longer, relationship ended badly, whatever, before he passed. But when I was a kid, I loved the Nihilists. I looked up to them. I loved them. I was antisocial like a motherfucker. I just did not like anybody. I had bad skin. I didn't like anybody. I hated school. They hated me. And the Nihilistics just filled a void with hatred and disgust and enmity. It's just so became friends with them. Still friends with Chris, the guitarist, and Ron, the singer, as well. I'm still friends with those guys. But me and Mike, we really hit it off. We used to hang out a lot. I used to go out to the Long Island and just spend the weekend at his house, drinking cheap beer and watching wrestling and horror movies. And going out to the wave clubs and act like assholes. So he turned me on to this record. I'd had like the singles and stuff already and everything. But it had to be around 1983, 84. He turned me on to this record. Thank God his Subway Sect, What's the Matter, Boy? This album. Where is it?
There you go. Vic Goddard, Subway Sect.
Yeah, What's the Matter, Boy?
What's the
and
matter?
This record, it just means a lot to me because of the memories it brings back for hanging out with Mike and whatnot. And it's not punk per se at all. I mean, you got Terry Chimes and his brother play on this record. I think the Black Arabs sing backup vocals on this. Who did that? The Sex Pistols stuff.
Right.
And just this album, the lyric. He's a phenomenal lyricist, which I love. Very, a wry sense of humor, to put it lightly. And the music, it goes from loungy to psych to pop, right? It's the whole gambit, but it's done very lo-fi, nothing fancy, nothing flashy.
Yeah,
and he's just got that very uncomfortable voice. It's not a perfect singing voice by no means.
Yeah,
by no means. It cracks. He can't hit the notes, but he's trying, and if anything, it shines on the lyrics even more. You feel it even more. And there's songs there that'll make you sad. The last song make me sad right there. It'll make you sad. And it's such great. It means so much to me, this album, and I've had it for years. I've been listening to it since I was a kid, and it's a great album. It's definitely a singer-songwriter type of record and whatnot. Yeah. And I wish I'd stolen on a couple of lines from this album that I've used myself. Of this, and I friended him on Facebook, and he comes on every now and then. And I sent him a message. And I was like, I was a fan of the record, blah, 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 this. And he was like, nice, I think. And I told him, I got to be honest with you. The one line of the song, the original, I forget how it goes. It's lost his soul but found his heart. I forget, lost his soul, found his heart. And I was like, I stole that line and I used it in a song. I just want you to know. And he's like, it's okay.
I wouldn't have found out if you hadn't told him. I remember that he had kind of like a punky single called Ambition. I heard that go around 79.
Yeah. Yeah. There's I think it was Rough Trade. They put it out after this album, I believe. A demo after this record. Yeah. That Rough Trade put out. It was demos like between the punk stuff and this album.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs, it's got like rough versions of some of the songs on this album that are more just like guitar driven. Like because there's keyboards on this and whatnot. And and the guitars are on this record. The guitars are they're less distorted and whatnot,
Right.
you know. But there's like I think it's a demo version. They are demo versions of these songs, and it's a lot rougher sounding. And I think it was Rough Trade that put it out in the early '80s. You can find it here and there. Prices, of course, have gone up, but it's really good. Like the songs are rougher, but they're still great. And yeah, because like the first the first couple of two Subway Sect 45s, they're good songs, but some like some it gets a little rough listening to because their whole thing was they despised rock and roll. And that's what they used to have on I think behind when they played, we despise all rock and roll. And they didn't want to be a rock and roll band. And they barely knew how to play their instruments. I think they might have been just this much better than the Banshees when they started with Sid Vicious on drums. So like that was their whole thing. And like they would like sit in their bedrooms trying to write songs, reading like French poetry and all this other weird. Yeah, they weren't like going out and getting drunk in a bar starting fights kind of guys by no means.
yeah, they couldn't even. I mean, when they were on tour with the Clash was like tuning their guitars, and it was like blowing. They're like, "Wow, thank you." You know, we didn't know. Yeah.
We oppose all rock and roll.
Yeah, this record, especially singer-songwriter type of stuff. I mean, I like some. I mean, if you write a great song, write a great song. And you know, I'll give, and no matter what genre of music it is, I'll give you credit and everything like that. If it's something, if it hits me in the right place, and I'm feeling something for it, that's great. That's all I'm really looking for. But it's like certain people, it's kind of like when they were in a band, you know, they had their band, they did with the rock and roll, the punk rock, the hardcore, whatever the fuck they were doing. They're doing that. And then what did somebody get them for Christmas? The Bob Dylan box set. Oh, I can do that. No, you can't. Stop it. You can't do this. And I mean, for me to go see somebody just sit there with an acoustic guitar and sing, one, you better be able to fucking sing. And two, those songs better be good.
Yep.
They better have something. I don't want to give it. Oh, he was in it. I don't give a shit what he did. You know, he's terrible. You know, because there are a lot of guys out there. I don't want to name names. I'm friends with some of them, but you just go sit down. You stop that now. You know? But it's that's what happens, and I've seen it happen, and that's why people like well, when are you going to do a solo thing? I'm like, if I'm always going to have a band behind me or whatever. Well, one, I can't play guitar for shit anyway. Thank God for that. But
well, just accompanied by solo guitar, Paul. Have somebody with an acoustic guitar and you singing or whatever, or doing.
You know, I don't even ever want to do that because I mean, I've done it. I've sang, being backed by a guy on acoustic. I've done it before, like at bars and stuff like that with friends of mine. Okay. I've done it. Something like but I'm not gonna be like Paul Bearer acoustic. No. I'm like, dude, you better fucking come and throw eggs at me, you come and boo, play so softly, so softly we can't hear you, I mean, no, I don't want to do that.
Daniel, exactly. I'm reading your comment.
Yeah.
Daniel, you are correct.
Yeah, big time. Oh yeah. No, I love early Springsteen. So
that's a good record.
When I was a kid, and my brother was a big Springsteen fan or whatever. So I like the first 4 or 5 records or whatever. I can listen to here and there, and I dig them. I'm not gonna play them. I'm not gonna, No, I want a band. I like rock and roll. I want to go out there, or I'm gonna do. I would love to do a soul thing or something like that. With like a horn section, shit like that. I want people behind me. So it ain't just coming down on me. You know what I mean? Right. I want a power behind me. I don't want to be like, no.
It's
rough. It's rough, and I wish some people would Well, get a new girlfriend.
All right, Jerry. What's your second record you got for us?
Let me look here. All right. Well, this is an interesting one because I took it from my wife's father's collection.
Oh.
I have a bunch of these records of this person, but this was his that he had on chess. This is
Oh fuck!
Yeah. Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Howlin
nice.
Wolf.
Yeah.
It's got his name.
That's fucking cool.
Just up there, but you know what? Yeah, when they used to write their names on records, and this record still, believe it or not, it's from being issued whenever year it was issued. Still plays all right.
Wow.
And I have so many Howlin Wolf CDs and box sets that I don't play this anymore when I want to listen to Howlin Wolf, which is I listen to all the time. But I wrote something once about the Cramps being like the sound closest to the sound of sex. It's just like the boom, ba boom, boom. But listen to this, Howlin Wolf. I can see why the young white kids were just losing their minds, because this is like pornography. Like, just it sounds so close to just, man, this is raw sexual. This is hot. This is sweaty. And and leave it to the Rolling Stones to take it and homogenize it and steal from it, repackage it, and now we have Pat Boone or whoever, But yeah, Howlin Wolf is like, yeah, he's
a man. He's a bad motherfucker.
I think he's my favorite of all those the sort of more well known blues artists from that era. There's something about him.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots. There's lots, Muddy Waters and all the old stuff and all that, And I had, like I said, I had the big thing next to my turntable, and I had like Lead Belly, and I was thinking about his story. I mean, well, these cats were like the guys who used to carry around knives and guns and be in prison back in the day and live the life, shit like that. And it's just like walk the walk and sing those songs and just with commitment, because they know that's the truth. That's their truth. That's their life, and they sing with, you hear it and it's like, yeah, that's the truth. That's where it's not like, Machine Gun Kelly singing about, whatever the fuck he's trying to make up these days. It's like, wow, these guys, I was like, whoo, like, look but don't touch.
Yeah. There's a picture when I was in last I was in London. I went to the 100 Club for a show, and it's a picture on the wall, Howlin Wolf playing there. At the 100 Club. Great. It's like somewhere in the corner. It's a great fucking picture. They got like pictures all over different bands and stuff like that. But I saw the Howlin Wolf. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah. There's like a video of him playing, and like the Rolling Stones are like sitting at his feet. Like they're all sitting, like when like in 62, they're all like sitting down, like watching him.
Wow.
Like it's crazy.
I mean, say what you will about what they did with it, but those people over in England had an appreciation for the American blues stuff long before a lot of people in this country did.
Oh, of course, yeah. They had to take it. They had, just like Hendrix. They had to go over there and then come back here before we accept it. Like, it's almost like they have to tell us what we should like.
Right.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
That's going on. That is going on shit into the fucking 80s. All that
right.
Shit.
Well, that's why Paul's going over there again. Coming back here.
I'm hoping this time it's gonna work.
Yeah, it's you know what? I always say that. It's like Spain, France, Japan, Europe, South America. It's like, why are all these people? Why are there statues of Phil Lynott, of Lemmy, of I mean, everywhere in the world where people rock and roll is such a, in America, they don't care. It's like whatever, it's like what do they give us? It's like whatever they tell us that we should is rock and roll. It's like people, it's like free thinkers, and they feel it and they love it and they riot and they go crazy for this emotion and this feeling. And it's like America, it's like it seems to be, it's like whatever, it's like I say, like media or whatever we,
Yeah. Well, it's like the Ramones. I mean, they go to South America, they're playing in front of 40,000 fucking people. They come back home, they're playing the Stone Pony in Asbury Park.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, they're still kind of almost, the Ramones, anybody who's like marginally into punk knows who they are, but in the grand scheme of things, they never really had a huge mainstream breakthrough at all.
No, they didn't. And it was sad. And it's just something that's kind of why they broke up in a way, because it was like, this is bullshit.
Right, but where's the museum at? In Germany, the Ramones
exactly
in Germany, not in America, where they're from.
No, there's the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas. You can
yeah. You get that Machine Gun Kelly's, tight pants there too.
Do they?
Wow. Awesome. I don't think I'm going to that museum.
Let's go off their list.
Right, let's see what we got here.
Okay, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm kind of a kick listening to this band, kind of doing a deep dive and getting all their stuff on vinyl, and it's Swell Maps.
Oh wow!
This is International Rescue, which is a collection of their singles and a few demos. It was released in '99, but I just finally got it on vinyl. I got their first their 2 studio albums, From Jane and Occupied Europe and Trip to Marineville. I got those. And the thing with them is they sometimes, got a little out there, got more experimental. I mean, they kind of predated the whole punk thing. They started playing, before that happened. But, some of their early stuff definitely, has a real punk feel to it, but it still kind of has, kind of an oddball feel to it. And I'd heard of them and all that, but like I said, I've really only started, appreciate them more in recent years. And like I said, I finally did kind of a deep dive and got all the albums. And I also, some of the, newer, post-punk, for want of a better term, bands, they're definitely showing up as much more of an influence with some of the bands, But I mean, it was more outsider stuff. It was more like kind of weirdo stuff. It was, they didn't really like fit into the whole, like, stereotypical, punk thing. They had a little bit more of a experimental side, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, they wrote some great songs, some great, like Let's Build a Car has just an insane, sick opening guitar riff, really pure fuzz.
Oh yeah.
It's just
I always like
the same weird shit too, like something I didn't really listen to, like back in the day. Or like all of a sudden, like the Monochrome Set or what, freaking love.
Oh yeah.
And but back in the day, put that on for me back in 1981. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? Now
I have a Monochrome Set pin. I think they played in Boston. I didn't see them, but a friend of mine went to the show and he got me a pin, which I think I still have. But I never really checked them out too much. It's one of those bands I've kind of, I should probably get around to checking out a little more.
Yeah, I took a chance. I heard one song. I was like, oh yeah, that band. I remember seeing the name and all this. Whatever. I checked it on fucking YouTube like a few years back, whatever, and I was like, oh, that's kind of it. And I bought one album. I was like, this is fucking great. This is fucking weirdo shit. And I'm like, yeah, like that Swell Maps, Cabaret Voltaire, shit like that.
Yeah. The thing about Swell Maps that always kind of confused me was like I kind of understood I mean, I got that the read about Seymour and then the Let's Build a Car single when I was a kid because I heard it on the radio in Portland and I really thought it was crazy. It sounded like almost like Buzzcocksy almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they definitely had some straightforward punk songs, but then they'll have like 5 minute free form piano.
Okay, that's I can kind of understand that too. But the thing is, once they got in the Johnny Thunders where they all the piratey glam gypsy thing, I was like, What's the connection between Swell Maps and because the Nicky Sudden and the Epic soundtracks and the Johnny Thunders, they did so many records here, and I was like, I don't hear the. I hear the sloppiness of the. I mean, was it the recreational, hanging out? Was that what it was? Because if that's then that's sure, but I couldn't hear it in the music. I couldn't hear the Johnny Thunders, rock and roll thing with the Swell Maps. But they were like they did a lot of stuff together. They were buddies, and
I mean, the early Swell Map stuff. It's kind of along the same lines as early Wire stuff. I mean, Wire never really considered themselves part of the whole punk thing. They kind of left it behind and kind of disowned it pretty quickly. I just got through reading a book about them recently where they were talking. The author definitely had pretty much a very anti-punk bias. It was their songs were raucous or whatever, but I mean they basically non-punks making a great punk album. Swell Maps, same thing. Probably not your prototypical punk people, but making something that would appeal to that audience, I guess.
Yeah, and well, Johnny Thunders didn't really like that word either, so
yeah.
Punk,
yeah.
But the UK had like tons of that stuff, right? Like the Desperate Bicycles and like that whole real like DIY.
Yeah, and I'm starting to go back and check some of that stuff out.
O-Levels.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that song, O-Level. Yeah, Pseudo Punk and O-Level. I mean, I first heard that song in '79. I play it on my radio show every year. O-Level. It's like anytime I hear anybody, talk, I'll be reading about, the school system or whatever in England. I'll always think of that song whenever I read about A levels or O levels or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you if you knew what they were because I took O levels. I took 9, failed 8, got 1 O level, never made it to the A level, the A level system thing. It was just like these exams you had to take, and you had to pass a certain amount to kind of succeed in life or whatever back then, and they've done away with it now. But
wasn't there some connection between the O-Level guy and like the people that did that song Part-Time Punk's television personalities? Wasn't there some like connection between those artists? I think I'm not sure, but it was all. I mean, it's like O-Level was like taking the piss out of punk, and same with television personalities. I kind of like that stuff too. Yeah.
Except for they said I know where Sid Barrett lives, which they should never leave the guy alone.
Yeah.
Leave that kid alone. Yeah.
Hey,
I never thought of it before. That's a good.
I saw someone post that they're sort of somebody just commented that the Swell Maps are sort of back together. Aren't both Nicky and Epic dead now? I mean, are they both? Then they both pass away.
It was Joe Head.
Joey Head.
Yeah. Joey Head. Yeah, Joey Head. Joe. Is that how you pronounce Joey?
I know. I always pronounce it Joey. Jowe. Jow.
Yeah. Joey Rastafari.
Where's my drum kit? I have an app on my phone that has a rim shot thing, but I'm too lazy to dig it out.
Right. Hey, we were talking a little bit about pub rock and all that a little bit, right?
Yep.
Dr. Feelgood, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon this band was the catalyst, maybe, for all that. Like a lot of like the UK, what they call proto punk, was pretty psychedelic. Like the Pink Fairies, I love the Pink Fairies and the Deviants, all that stuff. But it's definitely made on like magic mushrooms and LSD, which is cool. This band is like the opposite of that. This is like an East London band that is just like hard nosed, and this record was probably made on cheap beer and amphetamines. Crush Butler.
I've heard the name. I've never really checked their stuff out. I've heard the name.
It's like 1969. Like,
oh wow.
They never put a record out. They just have like demos. They were trying to get signed to Decca. Decca wouldn't have them. It was too primitive, too raw. So this is like everything they did pretty much on this record, just the demos.
Oh, wow.
Like, man, it's like it's so primitive. It's like, I mean, it's almost like the Sonics, but like an East End London version of like the Sonics or whatever.
Wow, that sounds cool.
Hey, so the Jesse Hector stuff.
It is. And
That's
there
what
it is.
That's what I was when he said that. That's what I was thinking.
Guy had the best sideburns in all of rock and roll ever.
Wow. And then they got even better as he went into the 70s and the Hammersmith Gorillas.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I love the Gorillas. Not Crush Butler. Yo, who turned me on? I think I don't know if I have a record or a tape. The Crush Butler stuff was Howie Pyro.
Oh,
okay. Who was a very good friend of mine. And he knew I love the Gorillas and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, we had Crush Butler. I was like, the name only? I never actually heard of it. I think I have a tape that he made for me, or a CD or something, for all the Crush Butler stuff.
But it's so fucking hard-nosed and thuggish.
Yeah, big time.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like...
Big time. Yeah. No, that shit's great.
And like, factory grime, fucking like working class stuff, like Love Fighters, like almost like a kind of Black Sabbath-y kind of song. There's nothing really. I can't think of any band that was kind of like this raw, and this sort of like pub, like really in the pub fighting in these standard.
Yeah.
Like, and there's like a kind of almost like a mini drum solo in like It's My Life. He's just like bashing away at the fucking drum kit.
Yeah.
And it's got a little bit of that Bo Diddley, like jinka 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 jinka.
What label put that out?
Okay, there's like two versions of this like stuff. This is Radio Heartbeat. Did this one. This one has the most songs on it. There's another one on another label, but which has like one or two less songs. So if you're going to get
there's this one label, I forget where the hell they're from. I want to say they're American, but I'm not sure. I have a couple of albums from them. I want to think Jaw, maybe.
Okay.
Jaw, I forget shit. I'm talking about. I can't think of the name of the record. And they did a Hammersmith Gorillas like a compilation type
There's
thing.
It's a 2 LP like discography thing, right?
Yeah. They did that. They did a lot of that Australian stuff, like Colored Balls and stuff like that. A lot of the
that might have heard,
yeah. They re-released a lot of that. So I want to say it's Jaw Records or something like I don't know.
Yeah, I've been looking for that like Hammersmith Gorillas double LP thing for years. Can't find it.
I'm missing one 7-inch.
Oh wow!
On
Chiswick Records thing.
Chiswick, I got that, and the album Message to the World. That's a great. I got that for like $20.
Nice.
Yeah,
he's like the unsung hero of all this stuff. I want to say.
Yeah, he's still alive too. He still pops up every now and then. It shows or whatever, and everything. I follow some thing on Facebook, and I'll have like a picture of him. Still a good-looking guy, or whatever. He's a little older, of course. He doesn't have the sideburns no more. Yeah, we did on my birthday. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, a little less than 10 years ago, whatever. It was, at the bar that I worked at, Hi-Fi. I had it was my birthday. I got a bunch of people I know play instruments, musicians, and we did a Chiswick night. And we all did stuff that was on Chiswick or whatever like that, all different bands. And I got to do Why Wait Till Tomorrow. I got to sing that with a couple of guys backing me up, friends of mine backing me up. And that's what I loved it with Jesse. He had that voice. He had that weird vibrato. Like, we're dying. It was so
like that.
So weird. It was like, wasn't this a regular vibrato at all? It was so exaggerated. It was crazy. Jesse Hector, man. Fuck yeah.
What a guy. Unheralded hero of like all the early UK punk. You know what? There's a sad story though. Like the bass player, Alan Butler, he was crushed by a horse in 1981. So there was an actual literal like crushed Butler.
Wow.
He was. Damn. He had a riding accident, was killed by a horse. Alan Butler, the bassist. So yeah.
It's like what was it?
Not the way you want to go.
Vinyl tap thing.
Not the way you want to go.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah. It wasn't crushed by a dwarf like in Stonehenge. He was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
Like the guy from they played in a Psychic TV for a while. He was with them, and then I think he was in Coil or something. John Balance.
Yeah.
And he died. He something like he slipped and fell in his house and banged his head. and that's how he died. But his name John Balance.
Yeah, right.
And even they said like the guys in the band like he'd actually get a kick out of this.
Yeah, I was almost thinking about doing that. I was thinking about just picking 5 Coil records.
That would have been a fun time.
I saw in '83. I saw Psychic TV when they first came over to America. I think
I think I saw them around the same time. Yeah.
My buddy Tony, well, ex friend of my Tony, whatever. Friend of my Tony, he was like really into like he turned me on to a lot of that stuff, like Robbie Gristle, Psychic TV, all that stuff, whatever. So we went to the first night. We went. I thought it was great. I thought it was something really wasn't used to. 50-year-old skinhead kid, oh, all right, this is cool. I liked it. And we went downstairs and we met them. We hung out with them. They were really cool, and they put us on the list for the next night. They played 2 nights. And so we went the second night. We got in. We were on the list like fancy 15-year-olds. and why am I bringing this up? Oh,
I don't know.
Because then I what do you call it? I wound up being there's the record they put out that whole series of live records.
Yeah,
live here, live there, and then the New York Scum Haters record was live. Is from that show. Oh. And what happened? Genesis. I was right there in front of the stage, and they used to do this skinhead moonstomp, they called it. And it was just like a bunch of noise and pounding drums and him going, oi, skinhead. He gave me the mic. So on that record, that's me.
Oh, nice.
Singing on that song, on Skinhead Moonstomp. And I'd met him years later, and I brought it up. He looked at me. He was like, holy shit. It's like, that was you? And I was doing security at the bar, and he was in. And it was that was cool. It was like a few years before he passed on. And then I had also befriended Sleazy on Facebook. And I told him, I was like, I was that kid and like that. And he was like, holy shit.
Wow.
So before he passed on. And I just now, like 2 weeks ago, I befriended his first wife, Paula, who's a Laura. Now she's on Facebook. And I friended her and I sent her the thing. I was like, that was me, that kid. It was kind of neat. It was kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the guy from the Toilet Boys wound up playing with Genesis too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, when he was living in New York after Brooklyn, because the girl that he hooked up with, that was married to, then is Jackie, that he was going through the whole surgeries with and stuff like that. Uh-huh. I'd known her from years ago. She was just like a punk girl / hardcore girl or whatever, just like whatever, regular girl, everything like that. And she went to her through friends. We weren't close or anything, but I knew her. And then I saw that she was with him, and all day I was like, "Wait a minute, that's fucking Jackie. I know her." So that was a trip. But all that stuff like the PTV, Robbie Gristle, I love that stuff.
Well, somebody just gave me the Cozy Fanny Tootie book to read. I'm going out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going out on a tour for a couple of weeks, and that's my book I'm going to read. So it's really good. Anybody read it yet? Anybody read that book?
I heard it. Yeah, it just came out not that long ago, I think. Right? So I still got a stack of books like this.
Yeah.
I finally finished your books.
Uh-huh.
You see in the back
over here. They just put out one book. You got to put out three.
There.
Yeah. Well, when you buy a book, you don't buy the book to own the book. You buy the time to read the book.
Good point. Yeah.
Fuck you.
I still got to read your books too.
Paul, did you show your? I don't think you've shown your pick yet for this round.
The what?
You didn't show your record yet.
Yeah, we do crush Butler, so you're
still
we went off on a tangent. Butler and Throbbing Gristle.
That's what it was.
Right?
That's not even the record I picked.
Unclean.
Right.
Okay, I was a late comer to this guy. I mean, I've heard his songs and I've heard his previous band stuff before and whatnot. On the radio, like New Wave Radio or whatever, and in record stores and stuff. But I never paid any attention to it. until about 3-4 years ago. His name popped in my head for why I don't know. Popped into my head. Like, let me check that guy out. So I went on YouTube, checked it out. I was like, wow, I like that, and especially the one song, "Elegant Chaos," which is on this record. Julian Cope, "World Shut Your Mouth."
Oh wow, great record.
Yeah. And I'm a late comer to this guy. I have the only records I have. I have the first album, Pride. I have as well. And this is a great fucking record. It's just good, great pop songs, but they're not. They're simple, but they're complicated. And his lyrics are fucking like right on, spot on. That song, "Elegant Chaos," the one he's what's wrong with being a cow anyway. Then he's like talking about I feel more of a man when I'm out with the herd. It's like, it just, his lyrics fucking hit right there. And like the Teardrops Explode, I dig and stuff like that. Like another band I got into later. But this guy, I don't know why. His name just popped into my head. And I was like, let me see what this guy's all about. And I'm glad I did, because his songwriting,
great.
And his vocals, everything. It's great fucking shit. I know he went off a little on the deep end from what I understand in the past few years, but who doesn't? And can you blame him?
But, like Teardrop Explodes, and then they were kind of big in the UK. They were one of those bands that they were like, mainstream pop, but you could tell there's something different about this band. He's not the same as all the other guests on Top of the Pops.
It's like them, Orange Juice.
Oh yeah,
shit like that. And I love all this shit now. I mean, when I was a kid, I'm like, what the?
That first Teardrop Explodes record is great.
It's still amazing.
It's
I'm saying I'm digging through my process of elimination to what I want to pick, and I had the Liverpool compilation album with Big in Japan and the first Echo and the Bunnymen thing after Monkeys right next to mine, and I was like going through all this shit the last 2 days trying to like figure out what boiling it down to what I want to eat. And that Julian Cope, I'm like, wow, that's good stuff. Yeah. It's funny when you're talking about, the Jesse Hector thing. I was thinking about I was like, Hammersmith Gorillas. That's gonna be him. And you're like, nope, it wasn't. And when you were talking about that, I was thinking Moon Martin. Paul's talking about Moon Martin. Moon Martin. So it's like, it's funny. It's playing this game. It's like, next I have up somebody from Minnesota. He's from Minnesota, and he might be. It's like, it's like
I have like one Moon Martin record. It's really good. It's like he's just got his face on the cover. It's real good. It's real good.
All that shit's great. But
he had that song Cadillac Walk, which was on I have the first Mink DeVille album. I won it from a radio station. That's their cover of Cadillac Walk is the best song on the album.
Yeah,
Jerry, wasn't big in Japan like Holly Johnson from Frankie Goes to Hollywood's punk band?
Ian Brody.
Okay.
And the girl Jane Casey and all those people. It was
the early Liverpool punk scene, right?
Yeah.
The guy from the Frankie Goes to Hollywood was in the Spitfire Boys.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Spitfire Boys is good. That's good punk stuff. It's crazy because all the Liverpool punk, it's crazy. It always has like a Beatles sound to it. To me, I always hear a Beatles sound. It's good shit. It's great. It's good stuff. I love that Liverpool punk stuff.
Yeah.
But
so like I said, I'm a late comer to this guy, and I got the first 2 albums and whatnot. I checked out the other. Thank God for the internet. I can go see what I like. I'm just gonna go fucking buy it and everything. Especially one of these old records, because like a jerk, I got to get the original pressings. I can't just get a fucking reissue like everybody else. No, I need the original. It sounds the fucking same, or even somebody's new one sound better. But I like the old things. I don't know. Sometimes you spend money in them. I don't know.
But you know what Julian Cope did? He's written a couple of books, and the one that, I live in Japan, so I've got a little bit of a bone to pick with him. He's kind of almost directly responsible for raising the prices of all these like Japanese records that nobody had heard about until like his book came up, which is, it's fine. I have, but that's a good book. But like you see it go around the town in Osaka, and all of a sudden these records that used to be like $15, 20, now they're like 50, and there's people coming over to try and buy all these records that he talked about, in his book. It's like Jap Rock Sampler is the name of the book, but it's a different book.
The guy from Flesh Eaters, Chris D, did that too with like movies and videos and stuff. He went crazy with all that Japanese stuff.
But I guess it's fine for the record store owners. They've had these records, in the stacks for 50 years, 20 years.
Yeah,
all of a sudden they're able, they can sell them finally. It's like
can't take it with you.
Some of these record stores that would have these fucking records that nobody fucking wanted, and the prices were ridiculous. What was it, Beacon Street Records or whatever? It was in the city. I think it's long gone now. And the guy sold a lot of oldies, like doo-wop and 50s rock and roll, up until like maybe the early 60s stuff, like girl group stuff or whatever like that. But it was mostly oldie stuff. He had a lot of represses. He had a lot of bootlegs too, like the 45s. So many of these fucking doo-wop 45s on bootlegs. It's not even fucking funny. And I like a lot of that stuff. So I would go in there every now and then and just look around. And the prices just fucking ahead. And I'm talking late 80s, early 90s. And I was like, nobody's going to buy this. I was like, I'll give you $20 for this album. And he goes, that was a lot. It's a $50 record. You've been sitting on for 50 fucking years. Nobody's buying it. I'm giving you cash money right now. You can pay your rent. You can eat lunch today, Floyd. No. And they went out of business.
Wow. Someday.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe not. If he would have lived now, open up the store, maybe he'd be getting those prices. But back then, nobody's fucking buying this shit.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. I mean, That's what I tried. Jerry sent me a thing the other night about, and it was like records with the guy. Some guy records he was selling or whatever.
What? Me?
Yeah. You sent me the pictures of the records the guy was selling or whatever.
Oh yeah, right. He wants to buy from me like for wholesale prices. Yeah. And I said, if you need anything, I can set you with whatever you need, this shit. But it's like, I don't know these titles. Whatever you want. If you see something you like, titles and stuff, stuff, you deep dive in the genre that I don't care about. So.
Yeah, but a lot of them, there's like, 60s, like ska or early reggae, like 45s.
Right.
And a lot of great sides, a lot of great songs. But that was, and I love that shit. Don't get me wrong. And I have.
That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't want to fuck myself. I've already fucked myself so many times. I have albums and stuff like that, and I'll buy the albums. You know what I mean? If I find them, especially the original pressings, because I'm a jerk, and I'll have the 45s. That's a wormhole. That's a fucking thing I don't want to get stuck in, and I will, because I'm like that, because I got mental problems. I will fucking do that, and that's why I almost did that with doo-wop. I had to stop myself. I was like, no, don't do this. All right, you got enough problems. I kind of got it under control with the Northern Soul and Soul 45s, kind of, sort of. You know what I mean? Because then, so many dead black people have my money and ain't even funny. You know what I'm saying? And I got to, all right, calm down. You don't need that record, but I need that record. You don't need that record right now. The only person's going to hear it is you. You don't even have DJ gigs anymore. Yeah, but no, you don't. And, but it's only $400. Oh, it's only $400? That's all?
You got like the like the devil on one shoulder and the whatever, like
No, it's two devils. It's two midgets. It's two angry midgets. And I know you're not supposed to say midgets. Oh, these people are midgets. And they're angry and they're not very nice.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Spinning records on their fingers.
Yeah, you're spinning them at the wrong speeds. They're burning books. They're throwing eggs at me. They're doing everything,
This is nice. Crush Butler to Throbbing Gristle, Julian Cope to doo-wop. This is how it's All right, Jerry, what's your next record? What you got?
Well, I was gonna save the best for last, but why not just probably for me that one of the best records ever. Paul, everybody who knows me and knows my I'm just gonna pull this one out.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And it's 13th Floor Elevators, the first record, and I don't play this one because it's the first pressing, but they only did what, 3 records? 3 records? Yeah. And but this is just so, it's as far as pop goes, it's like when I was a kid, I knew You're Gonna Miss Me. I mean, I saw the Lazy Cowgirls do You're Gonna Miss Me in before the Nirvana stuff. So in the late 80s, I saw the garage punk stuff coming back with all the, the Cynics and all that stuff, and that fucking band, all the the new punk shit coming out, doing like old, and these guys were how do I turn here? But and then once I knew that song forever. I heard it when I was a kid. And
DMZ covered that song on that 7-inch, the first 7-inch. They covered You're Gonna Miss Me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's punk, right? And then it's 3-chord punk, and then you start doing a deeper dive, and you hear the story about how like San Francisco had these bands, the Jefferson Airplane, the Grateful Dead, this and that, but the 13th Floor Elevators were doing this in Texas. They were tripping out of their minds, going nuts. They brought that sound up in like 66. And it's like all documented. They went and played these places if you compare the sounds to what the Elevators came up into and basically introduced psychedelic. I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to say 13th Floor Elevators, introduced psychedelic music. They were the ones. San Francisco sound did not sound like hippie freak out acid music before the Elevators came there. They were the ones that did it. And I mean, but still, if you listen, it's so, multidimensional. It's just, they were the best. They were there's so many things at the times and they were just, I can't, my band covered them. The last show we ever did in the United States, Paul put the show on. Last 2 shows that we did, and we covered 13 both the last 2 songs we did. Wow. Both nights, just for the tribute to Rocky and stuff. And it's timeless. It's timeless. Stuff like that is, and it's just like, it's good shit. So
that documentary about Rocky Erickson is worth seeing if you haven't. I'm sure you guys have, but
I've seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm watching.
You haven't yet?
I haven't watched it. It's another thing. Or they were the same thing with books, movies, and documentaries. How many things I gotta fucking watch? It's like Mike. So many things. It's like Mike from Child Tree. When I was talking about it, I was like, I got this book and that book I gotta read. He's like, I know, right? It's like being back in high school.
Paul, I got this documentary about West African punk rock that you need to sit down.
God, it's like these documentaries about
psychedelic Egyptian. It's like
it's like the bands, like they cross punk rock and roll with Slobobian folk music or whatever. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to. This guy's doing a punk rock song with the triangle guitar with the 3 strings, and
I want the next Sheer Terror record to come out totally influenced by this genre.
Why not? The throat singing. You got there's a metal band that does that. Who the fuck wants to hear this?
Oh, is that band The Who? The HU?
Yeah, HU. First of all, you're way too young to be doing that kind of shit. Maybe your ancestors sang that stuff because that's all they fucking knew. You got radio now. You ain't got to listen to this shit no more.
You got the internet.
I don't want to hear that mixed with friggin' really bad metal. I'm sorry, I just don't. You know, and that's all it is. It's really bad metal with and the guy with the string guitar beating it with a fucking lamb split. Get the fuck out of here. You know, play the song, sing. So you can't sing, all right. Play drum.
What you're saying? Are you talking about what you're saying right now compared to 13th floor elevators?
No, I don't know where it comes up. This is how my brain works, Jared.
Okay. Take it easy there, fella.
It's like I said it before. It's like Family Circus or whatever it was the comic strip.
Yeah,
and then the kid would go, like, you know, hey, what took you so long? And have the kid that had all the footprints.
It was like all his footsteps and stuff. Yeah,
that's how my brain works.
Yeah, mine's like that thing in like Simpsons with a little dancing cow in my hand. Fucking, it's like, yeah,
but the wife's always saying, you know, you're driving me nuts. So I didn't drive you there, you know. That's the bus. I'm like, wait at the window.
All right, Al. What's your next pick? What's your
another rim shot thing? That's what it is. See, you got me started. Okay, this is an album that has been out of print for way too long. Classic Midwest hardcore record, Oklahoma band, Tulsa band called NOTA or None of
Oh, I knew it.
Knew it.
Well, yeah, because I played it on my show this week. So
nice.
And everybody said, when's it going to get reissued? So, I mean, it's just mean sounding stuff. I mean, I call this kind of hardcore, you know, knucklehead hardcore, not because of dumb lyrics, but it just sounds like, you know, a bunch of knuckleheads, you know, like, you know, slamming boots on the floor. I kind of say that about like Negative Approach. I kind of say it about like, you know, early 7 seconds. I call it their knucklehead era. And it's just, NOTA just had this, you know, raw, pissed off, angry thing. I mean, they had, you know, the thrashy hardcore songs. They had more of like the Oi inspired songs. And unfortunately, I don't know if you're ever going to see a reissue. Well, 15 years ago, I was down in Austin, and I had lunch with Laura, who did Rabbit Cat Records, which was the label that they came out on. Who they also put out the Offenders albums, which were killer. You know, not speaking of underrated bands, I've almost pulled an Offenders record too. But anyway, I guess she said, well, they own the rights to it, but I guess they're not really interested in doing it. They don't know where the master tape is or something. And I talked to Chad from Brother Inferior, and the impression I get is, you know, Jeff, the vocalist, just isn't really interested in doing a reissue. I guess there's a possibility that one of the other guys in the band, I guess, is going to try to do something at some point, but, you know, not holding my breath. But yeah, I mean, that's like that one, the Stains album on SST, the Mensch stuff, and the Tar Baby Surfers. Those are like my top records that need to be reissued. And yeah, NOTA is, you know, definitely up there.
Oh, I was thinking because like Felix managed to do the live at the Crystal Pistol thing, he might be able to do that too. But I guess it never worked out.
I think he's tried to. I'm sure he's tried to. I'm sure a lot of people have tried to do it, but I don't know. Some of these old bands are just weird. I mean, it took Al from SSD how many years to finally agree to get those first two records reissued?
Well, you know what, Al?
What?
When Paul was talking about the last couple of years, reaching out and talking to Al, I never knew Al either. And my label, I've just done like just a bunch of basically Poison Idea stuff and obscure stuff like, you know, Davila 666 and the Hard-Ons or whatever. But I reached out to Al. I told him, like, this is like some years ago. And I reached out and I said, this is before The Kids Will Have Their Say came out. And I told him, I just out of the blue, just contacted him and said, I have a record label. I would love to put out your SSD stuff, reissue stuff. And he just opened a, you know, communication with me. Such a nice, friendly guy. And he's like, well, what about your distribution? I go, at that time I had one distributor. And I was like, well, you know, it's like, I mean, you want to talk about DIY, you're looking at it, man. This is like, but I will be 100% honest. I will give you everything. I would just be honored to put SSD out on my label. And he was just, he's like, you know what, the distribution kind of sucks, which it did. And he's like, thanks, but he was really cool about it. And yeah. So, but that's. I understand. Yeah, so I'd like to, all that stuff back in those days were like, the NOTOA, the none of the above. I'd be.
Yeah, you're right. That needs a proper reissue,
Yeah.
Just a straight reissue. No, like triple LP with like bonus tracks. Just a straightforward reissue.
Box set with that and the 7 inches. I don't know. It's all right. Yeah, exactly. I'll settle for just a straight reissue. I mean,
like the Smiths with a repackaged with a tacky new badge.
Ooh.
Well, I was fucking with me and Jerry joking around about the other day. I think it was with you, right? With the agnostic front. No, okay, no. So sorry, but I mentioned this to you. So Roger, agnostic front, right? He's a very good friend of mine. His family to me. I love him, right? But I told him, I was like, how many reissues of United Blood are you going to put out? Because it's put out like on every form you possibly can. I tracked down a company, I believe in Germany. They make Edison wax cylinders.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I was like,
that's collectible.
agnostic front, United Blood on Edison wax cylinder. You gotta fucking do it.
Come on.
Just to be a jerk. I think I'll fucking buy one.
How about an 8-track? Anybody done 8 tracks yet for agnostic front?
I think they still make it. I think they might still make 8 tracks, but that's horrible. Edison wax cylinder would be so cool.
There was this
that's what I
label.
told you to do. Pick your king, Edison wax cylinder.
There you go.
Hey.
That'd be great.
Mini discs. That's where it's at.
Maybe somebody has the Victrola in his house. Yeah, let me wind this thing up here. He's got the picture. He's probably got the like cylinder machine in his apartment on my street. It's the picture of him holding the baby Jesus. I love Vinny. Another very, very old friend of mine.
Yeah, I'm glad they're still.
Yeah,
it's like in the Interview with the Vampire. There's some life in the old girl yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Now Vinny, it's like the old story, which is true. Whatever. First band I ever saw was Vinny's old cover band.
Well, what band was that?
Live.
What kind of covers?
Future Shock, and it had to be around 1976 or something like that.
Wow.
In my Aunt Mary and Uncle Vinny's backyard in Staten Island. It was like the Labor Day or some holiday, whatever. Mm-hmm. And one of the friends, either my cousin Chris or Vinny or whatever, they got 2 bands to play in the backyard on like the concrete patio in the backyard on Tar G Street, Staten Island. Future Shock and some other band, I don't remember what they were called. And I remember watching Future Shock. I remember watching, and the singer had like the Rod Stewart hair and kind of like a big nose or whatever. And I remember them. They did covers, and I remember them specifically doing Suffragette City. And I was like 8 years old or whatever the fuck I was.
Yeah.
And years later, a couple of years back, Vinny did this interview when he's talking. Blah, blah, the bands he was in before I got to run. And I had a band called Future Shock. And I was like, no, wait a minute. And I went back, and somebody had a picture of the band. I was like, that's fucking them. And I went to Vinny. He's like, do you remember? And he don't remember playing the show, but I was like, you covered something. You guys just covered Suffragette City. He's like, yeah, he hated that song. And the singer, he had like this Rod Stewart hair, the big nose. He's like, yeah, the Jew. I hate that. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Vinny Stigma was the first fucking band I ever saw live. My aunt and uncle's backyard.
Wow, that's so cool. Yeah,
fucking crazy.
Yeah, you won.
Yeah.
That's
I guess I have to follow that now. I got a hardcore punk record though, but this is one like I don't know if you saw it, you might flip right past it if you saw this.
Oh, I remember.
All the work.
If you saw this in the record,
guys, right?
Is that the mob? What is that?
It's this band called
GBH, right?
What is it?
GBH people, right?
It's the WAYLT, and it's there's a tiny sticker in the corner, and it says original members of GBH and English Dogs.
Yeah, it's
so
Ross. Yeah.
It's like the tail end of the 90s. It's who is this? Okay, it's Ross and Jock from GBH, basically.
Yeah.
And it's Wakey, original English Dogs vocalist on vocals, and Pinch on drums.
English Dogs.
And they knocked out this record in like 1997. And apparently, like all these songs are like GBH and English Dogs songs from like 1881 that they never recorded. And so they did them in 97 and put it out in Germany on like Knockout Records. And it just sounds like you.
They sent me the CD to review. I remember. I might even still have it. But I remember that record. Yeah.
It never came out in the States. Like Beer City were going to do it. They never did it.
Hey,
they never
American Leather.
This thing needs to see the light of day again. I think it's just, I think it would sell. It's exactly, what you think it sounds like. It's like guys of our age, like in the 90s playing hardcore punk. That band Sick on the Bus, like Biff's band?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it kind of sounds like that. It's like that kind of thing. It's a bit of Motorhead, like it's just fucking great British blokes,
It's good stuff.
Gestapo, he turned me on to them at the tattoo shop in the late 90s or whatever like that. I remember.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Like, whatever the hell it was. He played me this stuff. There was that, like, woo ha.
I mean, the lead off track, Pig Dog Killer, is fucking amazing. Yeah, it's just like a great hardcore punk from like the late 90s, like no frills.
So you chose this because you listen to this all the time.
I chose this because I always like see it, and I always like I'm like I don't know about this, but my bad. I picked it up. I think this is like the third time I bought it. Like it's one of those things where it's like when you do a purge, it's like I can probably pick this up again in the used bins again, like cheap, and then and then you don't, right? So it's like it took me like 10 years. It took me 10 years to like get it back.
And when you got it, it all made sense.
It all made sense.
All right. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna find this and listen to it.
Trust me, the WAYLT.
They are good.
It's a good record.
Okay. Yeah, they are good. I don't have the record, but I remember.
You might not.
I know the four blokes and do create that record.
Right?
And they're all brilliant. They're all brilliant.
Pinch is an amazing like hardcore punk drummer. He's the drummer.
Oh shit! Yeah,
it's
of course.
Like you get records that you're lucky if you pull out like once every 4 years though. Sometimes it's like China White, Danger Zone.
Yep.
Great record. I listen to it maybe once every 4 or 5 years. I'll find like, oh yeah, this is good. I'll put it on. I'll see you in 5 years.
Yeah, it's one of those bands I like. I play that song "Live in Your Eyes" maybe like every year or two. That's a good song. I still have that. They were one of the first. They were one of the first kind of doing the whole metal riffs thing.
Yeah,
like 81, I think it came out.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, I remember buying it. I remember when I was younger, I probably listened to it. I don't remember, but yeah, like once every 5 years, I pull it out. Like, oh yeah, you're still here. All right, cool. We'll hang out. How you been?
All right. So apparently, this band has a 7-inch as well, which is better.
Ooh.
Oh, I know that.
It's better.
It's better. We'll find out.
It might be. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I don't know what they were doing with the. I mean, I guess this is like a pub in Birmingham on the cover.
Oh.
The Church Tavern in Waterworks Street. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Advertisement. And in Birmingham, make sure to go to
one in Birmingham.
All right, very good. Paul, you're next, I think.
Okay. All right, this guy. This band, I got all the records. I got all the 45, the 12 inches, the 10 inches. They were, politics, yeah, whatever. But their music, they were just a great pop, dance type band. And the song, I mean, if you liked like early Dexies or any of that stuff or the Jam, just like Redskins, neither Washington nor Miami.
Yep.
Yes.
I knew it.
Great fucking record. Great fucking record.
I knew it.
It was such a great fucking band. And I remember when I bought the first 7-inch, Lev Bronstein.
I have that.
First came out,
Yeah.
I bought it and I was like, "This is weird. What is this?" It was because it's really funky. It's like a funk song, and the B-side is more of a punk song.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay," and it had the red and black and white sleeve, very striking, the whole bit. I was like, "All right, it's okay. You know, it is what it is." And then when they put out, I think "Lean on Me," that's the next single, like 2 years later, almost or whatever. And when that came out, boom! I mean, that was such a powerful, fucking catchy song. And I mean, yeah, communists, whatever the fuck they wanted to be, you know, politics. I mean, you know, it was a big thing. The whole red wedge movement that was going on back then.
Billy Bragg.
And you know, for the working man and stuff like that. And you know, you take it all. You take all the greatest hope for whatever it is and everything like that. I mean, I've always leaned more towards socialism myself and everything. You know, there goes more T-shirts I'd sell them. You know, so say that out loud anyway. But the music is just fucking great. It's just catchy, fucking upbeat shit. And then there's a couple of more bluesy, soulful numbers. And guy had a great voice, Chris Dean, I believe his name was. And you know, and they dress like skinheads. They had a cool look.
Yeah.
You know, they look cool. And yeah, they look cool.
They were
you want to look cool. You know what I mean?
The Redskins were
I like all the records and everything like that. I like the versions because they do a couple of the singles on the record, the different recordings. I like the singles versions better myself. They just seem a little bit more punchy.
Yeah.
But just a great band, like stuff like this, like that kind of like you know, like the more like soul-y type of punk shit, like you know, like the first Dexies album, which is fucking you can't touch
great
that
album.
That album is phenomenal. Stuff like that.
I always thought like the Redskins is how I wanted the Style Council to be.
That would have been nice. I mean, I'm a big Style Council guy, but that would have been way more.
A little bit more energy, like you know.
A little bit more. You know, let's you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Paul Weller fan. Solo stuff, here and there. Some of the songs I saw him. I saw him play acoustic. Like it's Paul Weller. He gets a break. He gets a break. But
did the Redskins?
Like the Jam, and I'm a big Style Council fan and everything. I love all that shit. And they just, and like I've said it before, like the English just had a knack for like a lot of this shit. Like really, like you know, doing it well, and having a poppy edge to it, but not cheesy.
Yeah, right.
You know, it was. I mean, it would influenced by soul music or whatnot, or northern soul. It was just it's American music. It's only called Northern Soul because of the friggin'. There was a record store, I forget where, and selling soul records.
Wigan.
Yeah, but they were selling soul records, and they were like, you know, well, who's buying all these records? All these people from up north. That's where Northern Soul comes from. That's where the title, and it was just upbeat, you know, soul music. You know, that Motown, you know, the Ford of Wealth fucking shit. And but the English, they just have a knack for doing it really fucking well. Yeah. And like I said, they can even make it sound poppy, but it's not cheesy. It's poppy, but it's not commercial per se.
Gotcha.
You know, and it's not, you know, I mean, like I said before, I'm an unabashed Anglophile. I am. I don't care. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. Not fuck you. Like your English. but
did that band ever get to the States, to New York City?
What, Redskins?
Yeah.
No, they never came to America. Never
No.
came to America. Nah. But but it's like, okay, case in point. What the do they know it's Christmas? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. They got everybody singing on it and everything like that. Might not be a great song, but it's still not that annoying, right?
It's better than
catchy.
We Are the World. That's what
and then what do we put out? We Are the World, which is fucking garbage. All right, it's fucking terrible. It's a terrible song, horrible fucking song. You're not singing along to it. You know what I mean? You're not dancing to it, that's for sure. And it's a bad fucking song. That's why these people are starving. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Feed the World, Midyear, and Bob Geldof writing it.
Exactly. And the Banana Rammers in there. You had Paul Weller. You had, all these people singing on the fucking record. Paul Young. And Lionel Richie. And don't get me wrong. Commodores were fucking great. Nothing against Lionel Richie. Not at all. But it so stinks. And it just, that's why, these people are hungry. And this is what you're going to put out.
That is a great balance, between the different.
But they bought it it's like Hands Across America. What the fuck was that all about? You know what I mean? Remember that? Nobody ever talks about Hands Across America no more. You know why? Because it was a stupid idea. But yeah, it's great album, great fucking band. I know they did a couple of reissues recently, like a box set or something like that. And I think the bass player is the only guy you can really track down. I'll talk to Christine. He's in hiding, whatever. He doesn't want to talk to nobody about nothing.
And they were way before their time. They foresaw it with "Let's Kick Over the Statues" too.
Yeah. Exactly. Great fucking records. They just put a hit after hit, like on their 45s, and they were a great band. They really were.
Theme song in Portland a couple of years ago. "Let's kick over all those fucking Abraham Lincoln, kick over all those statues."
But this record, I do it. It's a great album. I like the production on the singles better, but it's a strong album.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
And politically, whatever. That might turn some people off politically. Come on, get over yourself.
Redskins are fucking great.
They're good. They're great.
Great fucking band. Great.
All right, Jerry, what's your name?
Oh, Jerry, your turn.
Yeah, I'm really losing track of what we're talking about, but I think
I knew that was gonna happen.
Yes. Okay, well, this is I'm not sure of the rules. Are compilation records?
Okay, of course, yeah.
All right. Well, this is probably the best, without a doubt, the best compilation record. And it's funny watching when Paul was like, I'm trying to guess the things when Paul said the Redskins. I was like, I think this is the best compilation record ever in America. All the best punk bands.
It is already
ever. And it is
great record.
Best punk bands. This is a West Coast record from Chris D's Upsetter label. He had the Controllers, UXA, Negative Trend, Flesh Eaters, Germs, and Middle Class. And this was like the third thing the Germs did before they did their album. And it's just the sound on this is sounds like it's almost like reggae. It's like a weird condensed
the production's on
crazy sound. It sounds like from 1950s. The sound, the way the music was coming out in the 70s, like the Eagles sounded like this and this sounded like that.
Yeah,
and it's so nuts. It's so nuts. It's not from it sounds like it's from Mars, but there's three versions of people who look like the Germs. Those have never been reissued for maybe because the Germs are, I don't know, whatever, the Germs estate wants money or whatever, but they've never been reissued. I should bootleg these songs. I should bootleg that record. I just bootleg the whole fucking record. Why not?
The UXA songs.
Yeah,
UXA were an underrated band.
I got the LP right up there.
Yeah, you know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they did something on Posh Boy, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, but
two different
those
versions of
songs
the
are
album too.
so much better, so much better. Everything on the middle class songs, they did the one thing on What Records, then they did the 12-inch, and this is like right between. They caught them right between, which is the nadir. It's just brilliant. Everything else, they just caught the flame right when bust. They just caught it.
Right.
And everything about the controllers, the record's magic, you know. And I see every once in a while, I'll be scrolling through something, and people will be like, "I'm selling my record collection," like, you know, and I'm looking through it, and it's like whatever, bunch of shit, bunch of garbage, and it's like tooth and nail. And I'm like, why would you be selling this? Why? And people, and these kids will like laugh. They're like kids in like southern Los Angeles. They're like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Like, what is, you know? It's like, it's nuts.
It's weird because you can still find that for kind of cheap here too.
Really?
Yeah,
but
I don't know why.
How many? It's either bootlegged or no
they
one
made
knows.
a lot of them. I don't know, you know,
or they don't know because there can't be that many of them. It's like, and I know the SLA record on Danger House was bootlegged. Bootlegged again because they made like 1,000 of them on like brown and then green and then you know. So those are, you know, there's it's nuts that these things are so, and there's 2,000 misfit records that are like, you know, $15,000 for this, but this one is just like 500, and there's like no one cares, you know. It's like supply and demand. Is that what it is? It's like nuts. It's like nuts. Record collectors are pretentious assholes.
I heard that somewhere before.
I'm gonna
I do.
Yeah, but that record, I mean, seriously, this record is, there's a couple of sore spots on it, but this record is just perfect. It's a perfect record.
Yeah. It's a great record.
Yeah, I love it. It's fucking great.
All right, let me see.
Al's getting started already. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
Okay, so I got some DC music here, maybe the anti-Discord music. I have No Trends, Too Many Humans out.
Oh, nice.
Which if you've never heard, I mean, they changed like with every record. I mean, they started doing like jazz stuff later on, but this record was basically totally influenced by the first two Public Image Limited records. I mean, pretty shamelessly, but they did a great job. I mean, just, you know, negative, just you know, antisocial, like hated everyone, hated everything. When I worked at one of my record store jobs, I worked one night a week, and around 9:15, when it was time to clear the store out, I had two records I played. One was Ministry's Twitch album. I played the 12-minute medley that ends that record. That usually just took like about 5 minutes to clear the store out. This one sometimes took a little longer, but I'd start with side 2, the song Too Many Humans, and that usually did the trick pretty quickly to get rid of people. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a mean, nasty, visceral record, and they just did not give a fuck. Let's see. Oh, there's some other goodies in here with it.
Oh, what you got?
I never paid attention to them. I should check that out because I love Public Image and shit. So
yeah, has I guess lyric sheets, and you know, it has all the has press releases, like, you know, like the press release. If you're slightly deranged, you won't regret it. They had a single before this called Teen Love, which is basically, I don't know if you ever heard that or not. It's just like the 6-minute song where he's just kind of like almost like reading a news report about, you know, these two teenagers, you know, fit all the right, one like making sure the other fit the right qualifications, the right social group and all that. And then there's like about a 30-second part where it's just really like fast, thrashy hardcore, and then they get back to this kind of like droning, you know, kind of repetitive stuff. I mean, this album just has I mean, like I said, it was the anti-Discord, but the funny thing is, like, you know, the Discord bands did play with them. But I mean, they were nasty. I mean, I love this album.
You know what? It's weird. I've for some reason, Godspeed, Your Black Emperor thing just popped up, and I've been doing this. I've been listening to them the last couple of days. I listened to you go Godspeed, You Black Emperor.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And when Al's describing this, it kind of sounds like the same thing. Is it? Do you think it's kind of like the? I mean, do you think it's in the same?
I haven't. What's another band? I know the name, but in all honesty, I haven't really checked out a lot of their.
It sounds like the same. It sounds like the same. Yeah, but so much out. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know their name, the Godspeed, because when I worked at Brownies in New York, I'm pretty sure they played, and they were probably one of the bands that I ignored. Which
yeah.
There are many. And,
yeah, you know what? As I ask people about it, I'm like, this is kind of cool, and they're like, it's one of those hipster bands.
Yeah, I've seen so many bands from working the doors at a lot of venues. Just probably just didn't pay attention. I can't say anything about them because I don't remember, but I know that I remember that name.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not to.
Yeah.
But I like some bands like that played. I was just like the people shitting the brick over. I was just like.
Yeah, but that's why I listen to shit all the time, because it's like I can't talk shit about nothing unless I hear it first.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember being on tour with a guy once and saying something, and I'm going and he was about the Smiths, and he's going, they fucking suck. They suck like it. And this guy was like a rockabilly guy, and I go, have you ever heard the Smiths? And he's like, no, I've never heard them before, but I just know they suck.
Yeah.
They sound like The Cure, and I go, no, they don't. They sound like what you like, what you're, what you're. So it's like that kind of stuff,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I'll give anything a shot if I hear, but
same thing.
And if it's good, it's good. I'm not gonna be ashamed to admit just thought something's good because it doesn't fit a mold or whatever. Right. But if it's bad, I'll walk away. But I just, I mean, like a lot of speaking of Discord, just like a lot of stuff they were putting out at the end. A band I had to suffer through twice, Lungfish.
Oh, I saw them a couple of times. They're okay. A couple songs. I don't mind a song here and there, but it's not a band I want to listen to the whole album.
Gave me a headache, is what they gave me. Lungfish, some of that shit. Beefy. I didn't see Beefy. That record is fucking. That's abysmal. What the hell? Oof. It's a lot of that shit. I was just like, no. Fugazi. I mean, I can understand why people like them. I get it. Shut up.
Went into the Fidelity Jones record. So that was the band that came after Beefeater, Fidelity Jones. I think I might have seen them once, believe it or not.
Nation of Ulysses. I mean, the names alone, you're like, what? Stop it.
Yeah. The name is the best thing. The name's the best thing about the band.
It's like the names of these call like like your friend or like maybe your nephew. Like, I'm starting your band. Oh yeah, what do they call Nation Ulysses? You're like,
I just played them on my show this week. Oh, some of their stuff. I like that first album.
It's like, what kind of name is that?
Blue Tip.
I get the best fucking name for a punk band, but I'm always afraid to say it because actually I got a couple of them. There's a couple I can't say, but
say it.
No, some I'm not gonna go down. I got enough people fucking. Yeah, no.
Right, fuck! It's the last round. It's time to can throw one more each.
Lightning round.
Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers
best
out.
name for a punk band, and I gotta use it. I gotta put out a 45 at least using it. The Big Hits, but it's the BIG and then IT apostrophe S with an exclamation point. The Big Hits.
Yes.
Good name.
Get down, Paul. Put it on American leather.
I'll do it. Yeah, sure. I just got
to. Jerry showed a record with a wolf on the cover, made by an actual wolf. So I thought, I better do the same for my last pick. It's a record with the wolf on the cover, made by wolves. I only knew like their hit of this band, and I didn't hate it. I kind of liked it, actually, back in the 80s. La Bamba. Everyone loves La Bamba. Who doesn't like it?
Los Lobos?
Yeah. So like, I've never ever bought a Los Lobos record until like 2 weeks ago. I saw this thing in the racks, and I went for this one. I just had to get it. It's Japanese pressing as well, which is a bonus. And it's
the Obi.
The Obi.
The precious Obi.
It's just weird being like a 58-year-old British guy getting into Los Lobos for the first time. I don't really know how to describe their music, but I know what it does to me. And I put it on. I was sat here, and I don't want to get too soppy about it, but like, I'm not a dancer. I'm a repressed British man. I wanted to dance. It took me to another place I'd never been. I was in the nightclub in LA, dancing with the woman that I never married. And then it's over, and then I'm back in Osaka again. And I mean, you can't ask much more from music that it like takes you somewhere and makes you feel something. So, I mean, it's a rock and roll record, really, when you get down to it. But man, so much more than that. It's fucking soulful.
Yeah. They were a good band. Okay.
Great record.
I don't even know what to say about it. I didn't prepare any notes for it because it's just been making me like feel things when I've been listening to it this week.
Yeah,
so.
no, they were great. Like they don't like them. And as far as I'm concerned, best band California ever produced, the Blasters.
There's isn't there like an ex-member of the Blasters in this band? Did I read that?
Well, Steve Berlin, who played saxophone, played also on both records.
Okay, there you go.
And he did the Flesh Eaters, that Minute to Pray, Second Eye album too, with people from the Blasters and X. That's a great record.
They were all, and the Knitters too.
Knitters, yeah.
They're kind of a incestual.
But I got two favorite songs. Like, one is like I Got Loaded, and it's like just I got loaded on a bottle of gin, I got loaded on a bottle of gin, and then it's like I feel all right. It's like and then it's like the whiskey verse, the whiskey chorus, and then it's like maybe tomorrow I'm going to get loaded on a bottle of wine, and I'm probably going to feel all right. And it's just like, oh man,
they were great. Like they got the early shit as well, even especially the Blasters as well. Up there like with the whole rockabilly shit, the whole rockabilly scene too. Which there was a lot of good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the last well, he's Chicano as well, I believe. He is. That I haven't seen him in a Jesus. I haven't seen him probably 20 years. I think about it. Big Sandy.
Oh yeah.
Big Sandy. He's great. He is great. That guy, he got a set of pipes on him. He can sing. One of the sweetest guys you ever meet. I met him like a couple of times. Every time I see him, I would go talk to him. Just a sweetheart of a guy, and just a great voice and great show with the whole bit. And smart dresser, the suits, the whole bit he's got. And the California with the Chicano element in the rockabilly it's.
Apparently, like
even today in the punk thing out there, when we go out there when we play in California, it's fucking neat because you got a lot of Mexicans and Chicanos out there in the crowd, the punks and everything. And the best thing ever is like in between. A lot of times they go to these shows, and in between the bands, they'll play Mexican pop, like that, but like kind of like more modern like Mexican pop, and all the kids are dancing, and they're singing along. They're like that. It's fucking great.
There's some of that on here too, like a couple of tracks.
It's great. It's one of the greatest things. That's why I was like going to California, because if it wasn't for the Chicano population, honestly, I think the California scene would have died a long time ago.
Of course,
it's so huge out there. And
so the last song on this record, the title track is actually apparently it's about like the East LA punk scene and how Los Lobos were really embraced by the punk scene, and it's actually about that. That's the last song is kind of about that, apparently. So,
will the lone wolf ever die or whatever?
Yeah, the title track. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's like not our country. I mean, we were here a long time before we were.
Now their influence in the punk scene is huge out there to this day, and they all come to the shows, and it's fun. It's fun. It really is. I love playing out there.
I had to go. Well, while I was at it, I had to get
punk rock in LA is nuts.
Yeah, and all I do, if I'm in California, I'm eating Mexican food every fucking meal, every day. I'm out there. That's what I'm eating. That's the shit. And I'm very happy to be there. Very happy to be there. Yeah.
Lost Lobos. It's not only La Bamba, even though that is a great song. There's so much more.
Yeah. No, they were
like
great
me.
band.
Great pick.
Yeah. Beautiful record. Beautiful.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Paul, what's your last record of the day? What you got?
Okay. I brought out two, but I got to pick one of these things. I already thought that thing. Well, it's either another English band or a non-English band.
Let's go English.
No English?
Let's go English. Why not?
This guy in this band, got a couple of his records. And he just has a knack for writing excellent pop songs. Catchy, melodic, bouncy, but not stupid like. And it's twee, it's fey, it's whatever. Ian Brody, Lightning Seeds.
Oh,
wow. Okay, cool. Lightning Seeds.
Lightning Seeds. Ian Brody.
Oh, Ian Brody.
Yeah. This guy, he does no wrong. As far as I'm concerned, he can write a pop song like that.
Oh yeah.
And then you hear it, you remember it, you're humming along to it. It makes you happy, you know. And you can't be wrong. You can't ask for more than that. That's what you're looking for. You listen to a pop song. You want to feel good. You don't want to. You want to feel angry. There's music out there for you. You want to hear pop or anything. You want to feel good. Walk away feel good. And this guy, he just has a knack for writing those songs and recording them. And I dig it so fucking much. I mean, I first, of course, the first time I ever heard it was from Pure when that came out in like '89 or whatever it was.
Beautiful. And
that's been on countless soundtracks and all this stuff. And I'd follow. Actually, I went out and I bought the album. I bought that album, that like Cloud Cuckoo Land, and the Wedding Present Bizarro.
Oh. Wedding Present were awesome.
They were great. Up to that album. Some of the stuff after, I'm touch and go, but like Tommy and
the one with George Best on the cover.
Georgie Best.
Yeah.
Those albums,
9 minutes.
First 12 inches, I love.
Yeah, Bizarro had that song "Take Me," which is like 9 minutes. Like
Kennedy and all that. I saw them at CB's. They played CBGB's right before that record came out, or just when that 45 came out of Kennedy.
Yeah.
And that's all they played was that fucking album. They didn't play any of the old songs. I was so pissed off. So they played any of the old stuff. And I asked their stage guys, like, why didn't they play any of the old stuff? He said, because they're silly. That's what
I always love this one. The best description I ever heard of the Wedding Presents vocalist David Gedge was Morrissey if he'd been raised by Thurston Howell III.
That's good.
Gerard Cosloy from Matador Records and Conflict Zine.
That's good. I like that.
And he didn't mean it as a compliment either.
Yeah. That's funny though. But no, Wedding Present first early show I loved.
Yeah. Yep.
But I went to the store and I bought Cloud Cuckoo Land and Bizarro. I had them with me, and then like a moron, I still had money in my pocket. Let's go drinking. Okay. Taking the bus, taking the train home. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, I think. I don't remember. I think it was in Brooklyn. After staying all night, going out all night, drinking, still had the records though. Until I woke up in Coney Island. The train stopped. Fuck. And I get off the train, and I get on another train and go, I got to go all the way back to Brooklyn now. I get on the other train, leaving my records on the other train.
Oh, shit.
But I love that you love all this British stuff. You know, I love it. It's
I just like I said. I mean, I grew up, of course, with the punk thing in New York, and yeah, of course, I like American punk too. Not all of it, but I don't like all the English stuff either. But the English stuff, are just like I said, it just has this feeling to it, and it's a lot more anthemic. A lot of it, a lot more anthemic, and sing along I guess a lot of it, it just I don't know. Like I said, because England is so small compared to the States, it just seemed like it was concentrated there, and it was more of a thing. Like where the States, it was like the States is so big and so vast. It was like, oh, that, you know what I mean? Not like, oh, this, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, that over here, you know.
Yeah, beautiful.
But Lightning Seeds, great band if you want to call it a band, but great singer-songwriter Ian Brody. Yeah, I adore the stuff.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Lightning Seeds, yeah, of course.
Beautiful pick. Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jerry, what's your last record of the day? What's your last pick?
The last record is
Dang.
How many bands have covered this? It's a bit of pride. I know we all got pride from being in England, doing the best, England, DePaul, New York City, Boston. Yep. Here we go. I mean, this is me and Jennifer went to Jennifer. Or is it Jennifer and I? That's the Jennifer and I. That's
Jennifer is the grammatically correct way to say it.
Jennifer and I. Jennifer and I recently went to a book signing thing recently where the person wrote this book about how rock and roll was invented in the Pacific Northwest in Tacoma, Washington. They had after the war, all the shipyards in Seattle and Portland and Tacoma and stuff, and all the people from people from the South coming up and moving up to that thing. But I mean, like, I didn't know Ray Charles fucking lived in Tacoma.
Wow, I
knew Jimi Hendrix. That was the big thing. Jimi Hendrix lived in, or was born in Seattle.
Right.
And Ray Charles and Jimi Hendrix and the other cat's name. But all these people were like, so we saw this whole thing, and it was like, I didn't know that. I was always just thinking these crazy white kids from y'all know the Sonics, everybody's covered them. It's like,
I showed that DMZ record. They covered Cinderella on it.
There you go.
That's when I,
you know what? I didn't want to give away the game. I didn't want to say that. I don't want to say that right away. I go, hey, it's like, too fast. It's like,
oh well.
But yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh, great.
And
I just watched a documentary about the Sonics. It originally came out in 2017, but it was just reissued, and I just watched it on streaming or something a few weeks. It was kind of disappointing because it was made, I forget how long it was. It was an hour and a quarter, and the first 15 or 20 minutes, they covered the history of the band, and the rest was just what happened after people rediscovering them. And I would have minded getting, a little bit more nuts and bolts about what was, going on originally, getting more of an overview of that.
Right.
Felt it was kind of short shrift on that, but we're still getting to see, and they didn't really have any live footage either, which kind of sucked. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I saw this thing.
Who knows if they had? Who knows if they shot video of them?
No, I saw this. Well, yeah, I saw this thing at at this place, and it was just like a national parks museum type place.
Yeah.
And it was this person giving a speech on their book, and it was very interesting. I was just like, I was like, I didn't know these people. Quincy Jones, Ray Charles, Jimi Hendrix, all were from like, because of the war,
Yeah.
Right.
parents living in the stockyards up there in the Northwest. And they took it from there, and they said, and their whole thing was rock and roll kind of move down, and their timeline was like, everything is questionable, but you could say like, well, I don't know. And they're going, well, it came down this way through Memphis and it hit this way. But for the Quincy Jones, Ray Charles, and Jimi Hendrix, but it was, you know, hey, I have no skin in the game, so I don't give a shit. You know, I don't care.
Yeah.
They say that about like a lot of like, you know, I mean, I'm sure like this guy's done a lot more history, study into it and everything, and I can prove his things, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to argue with him, but it always gets me like when I remember the name of the fucking band. They're like, this was the first punk band ever, and it's always that. It's always some fucking band. It was like some band from like Spain or something. Like, they were the first punk band ever. Listen to this record. It's fucking awful.
Is it like they said that Peruvian band, like I forget, like Los Psychos?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Like,
Are you serious? Are you serious? You know the horrible band that Paul's talking about?
Yeah. You're like, oh, really? And you listen to it, like, this stinks. This is terrible. Why? Just because it's punk?
Okay. I don't know.
A lot of bad records out there.
It's something that you can't win. You'll be chasing your tail. It does not. You can't win. It's one of those.
It's just like, you know, because it's out of tune. The guy can't sing. He's screaming. Everything's it's barely recorded. Oh, so that makes it punk.
But
no,
what I'm saying, if you want to take the rhythm and blues and the just the at that time, if you listen to this record, the Sonics,
yeah,
man, it is rock and roll, and so many bands have covered them, you know.
Oh, big time.
And is it a you know, if a commercial at Ford cars, you know, put your song in a commercial, does that mean that you're fucking great? No, it doesn't. No. It just means that you know, that's my.
People got mad about Taco Bell using the Ramones in the commercial.
Well, hey.
Like, oh, how dare they? Fuck you. Let me make a buck. There's two guys left.
Hey, we got to pay our rent, you know what I'm saying?
You know, there's like maybe at the time it was like maybe two guys still alive. Let them make some fucking money. You know,
definitely. I give them their blessing. You know what? And people get pissed off. People get pissed off about that kind of stuff. It's like
and then I'm thinking, like, did you ever think that maybe you know why this stuff's being used in commercials? I can't say from that I know this to be fact, but that maybe some of the people who grew up listening to this shit and loving this stuff are now in these positions
exactly
to use these songs
definitely.
And maybe make these guys a couple of bucks.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
You know,
I heard a Suicide song in a perfume commercial.
Wow.
It's like I'm watching. It's like,
I love it.
That's a sell.
Is that Cherie by Suicide? It's like there's like all these flowers and stuff, and these like women like with flowers, and it's like perfume, and it's a Suicide song.
It's a good fit. It's a good fit.
Yeah.
Gordon.
Hey.
Yeah. But that's it's like people get mad over this shit. It's like, let them make their fucking money. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. Yeah. It's like they're old nowadays. What are you doing? You know, you chances are you bought that record in a fucking used bin anyway, so they didn't see a dime from you.
All right, Al. It's the last record of the day. Make it count. Make it count. Make it count.
You can't do this.
Diagonal is tough. It's going to be down. Where's he gone?
I'm right here. I had to reach over. Wow. Like records on the table. I want,
there you go.
Trying to make it a surprise.
Beautiful.
All right. So this is an Australian band who I first heard about, I don't know, 2006, 2007. It was this guy told me, this band, they sound like really old. They kind of sound like the Australian X, and that really piqued my interest. So I checked them out, and it was Eddie Current Suppression Ring. This is their first album.
That's a great record. Yeah. Eddie Current Suppression Ring. Yeah.
Eddie Current Suppression Ring. They got fairly. They speaking of commercials, one of their songs was used in a. They had a song called Memory Lane that was used in like a camera commercial, like a Polaroid commercial. It was used in the U.S.
Al, put it back a bit so you see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Eddie Current
Suppression Ring.
Yeah, this is their first album, and I don't know if you've heard the Australian band Dex, but it's, kind of. It was like kind of, everyone uses the term post-punk, but it kind of was. Slightly, I'm trying to think of the term. I get tongue-tied sometimes, but it's catchy, kind of poppy, but it also has like kind of an edge to it, kind of like spaciousness to it, and some of most of the songs are guitar oriented, but then they have a few songs that are just like either organ or electric piano without the guitar, and just the organ is the main instrument. And there's one song on this album called Insufficient Funds, which is definitely something that a lot of us can relate to. And it's these like really swirly kind of like garagey organ lines, but it still doesn't sound like your standard 60s garage rock. It's kind of once again fused to a little bit more like a post-punk sound. And I mean, they've got a bunch of, I think their first album is my favorite. Their second album, Primary Colors, is also really good.
That's amazing. That's a fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. I like this one a little more because just the songs, it's all square, which just has an incredible melody to it. And Insufficient Funds. My favorite song by them is called Anxiety. It was on their third album, which is called Rush to Relax. And unfortunately, that album is really uneven, so that's why I picked this one, because it has the most songs I like on it. But yeah, no, they're. I did get to see them once in New York City. They never made it to Boston, but I'm sorry, what? 2010.
No, I'm glad that you're saying what it is, because I can't see what the fuck it is when you hold it up like that. I can't. It looks like you're holding up a black piece of paper.
Well, it is a black cover.
It's a black cover.
It's a totally black cover with a little like white strip.
Oh, that's
sunglasses probably ain't helping.
Yeah. That's very arty.
Nope, upside down. All right, how's that? That better?
There you go. Eddie Current.
Thank you. I can sleep well. Thank you. Thank you, Al. Thank you for doing that. You know what? I'm just gonna listen to the music. I'm gonna check it out.
I think you'll like them. This is one of those Australian great bands.
There's all these hype bands from Australia, and they were really popular down there. They won some kind of music award down there, but obviously much more of a cult item in the U.S. And they didn't really, as far as I know, they didn't tour here that much. I had to go to New York City to see them play, and that was like 2010. And I know they put out one more record. It's like out of nowhere they put out one more record in 2019 that wasn't really that great. So that their guitar player Mikey Wild, he produces a lot of Australian bands, does a lot of mastering of bands down there. And it's like you always hear all the hype bands like Amyl and the Sniffers, or the best punk rock band around. And I mean, these guys are just, they probably have taken a few things from them, but I would say maybe they took a little bit from Eddie Current, but they're great. Their stuff's so good.
Great band.
So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. We've reached the end of the road.
Wow, 12:30. Wow.
Yeah, a nice round.
The road is long.
Let's. I want to keep chatting a little bit after the cameras stop rolling. If anybody wants to have another couple of drinks, shoot the shit for a little bit.
A little bit. I'm tired.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. We had a good time. I hope everyone else had a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
Who was watching? We'll be back. I'll be back next week. These guys will be back next week. I'll be back next week. Every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, doing the same thing. Be a good time. That's it. Cheers.
Thanks for having us.
Until next time, stay healthy and